This episode is brought to you by Zelle. Whenever you're sending money through an app or online, it's important to do it safely. Here are a few helpful tips. First, always make sure you know and trust the person you are sending money to. Second, confirm you have entered their contact details correctly. And finally, if you don't trust the person or your recipient is rushing you to send money right away, think twice before sending money through an app or online.
A financial plan isn't just about money. It's about what matters most to you, like protecting your family, supporting your community, and building a legacy for future generations. At Northwestern Mutual, we start with a conversation about the life you want to live now and years from now. Whether you're paying down debt, saving for college, or planning for retirement, we have an eye on your bigger picture. Get access to our financial expertise at harlem.nm.com. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, headquartered in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Hey, what's up? This is Jeff Cobb, and you're listening to Keepin It Strong Style.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out in Barrio the Frogs. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the Ace of Podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jim Donovan here with Matthew John filling in for the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll review nights 8 through 12 of the World Tag League and Super Junior Tag League Tour and cover all the latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can support our show by subscribing and following the Social Suplex Podcast Network or Keeping It Strong Style on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the podcasts over at socialsuplex.com. Check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/socialsuplex. That's where you can get your official Keeping It Strong Style t-shirt. If you enjoy this podcast, please consider making a one-time or monthly donation by visiting socialsuplex.com/donate and clicking on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. This episode is brought to you by the NJPW EXT, the only browser extension for NJPWWorld.com with features like dark mode, improved translations and layouts, custom and shared playlists, synchronized viewing parties, and much, much more. It takes NJPW World to the next level. You can visit njpwext.us today for details. Matt, thanks for coming on the show, man. How you doing?
Doing very well, man. Thanks. The Discord daddy is here. We're ready to do numbers.
That's right, the Discord daddy. Our listeners might know you as MJaydoespr on Discord or Twitter or on the Reddit, throwing in your questions, supporting the show. You've been a long-time listener and supporter, and we appreciate that, man.
Yeah. You know, a lot of folks don't know, but nights 8 through 12 of World Tag League, Super Junior Tag League is where you get the real deep New Japan analysis. You know, English commentary, no way. No, thank you. We don't need it on these nights. Typically, you're thinking, are they going to get Chris Sampson for this one? Are they going to get Rocky Romero? No, you're reaching deep into the roster, and you're going with old MJ here. So no, I really do appreciate the opportunity. So I'm not a podcaster. I'm not a wrestling writer. I'm a fan. I've stuck with the product for, I've been through the clap crowds, I've been through Evil's title run. So, I'm here, and I know I'm going to be rewarded for it in the end.
This World Tag League, Super Junior Tag League, a lot of people, they kind of check out, they're cherry picking, they're counting on us to, give them the lowdown, what's going on. And, young boy Josh Smith, he is out last week. He was on vacation. This week, he's dealing with a really bad sinus infection. Voice is messed up, and is pretty sick right now. But I think it's very suspicious that he gets sick during, this arduous, nights 8 through 12 of this tour.
Yeah. Get a lozenge, young boy. Drink a little bit of water.
Yeah.
Get down with some tag league. Let's go.
Where's your fighting spirit?
Exactly.
No, but in all seriousness, yeah, Josh is not doing so good right now, but he should be feeling better soon. As of right now, we are planned to record later this week to do our bonus episode to announce the nominees for the 2022 Keeping It Strong Style year-end awards. That episode should be coming later at the end of this week, along with the ballot for you guys to vote. So we'll post all those links and stuff when the ballot's live and when that bonus episode drops. So make sure you subscribe to either Keeping Strong Style feed or the Social Suplex feed. You'll get that bonus episode, and we'll tweet out, send out the links, Reddit, Discord. The Discord daddy will help promote the ballots here.
Send in your donations.
Oh yeah, do that too. Yeah. So Matt, when did you start watching New Japan?
So I think I came in when a lot of new fans did around Wrestle Kingdom 10 or just after Wrestle Kingdom 9. I remember some of the things that got me like interested. I remember seeing a video of Nakamura's entrance when he was dressed up in the king suit in Wrestle Kingdom 9.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I remember saying like, man, like this looks like Pride. It gave me that like Pride FC vibes where I was like, oh, they're still doing this over in Japan, aren't they? And I was like, this is something I can get into. I love the pageantry. I love like big, huge entrances. That big stage of the Tokyo Dome is so awesome. And so I started checking it out. I was in and out there, finding whatever I could, like on the streaming sites and whatnot, and coming across stuff. But yeah, full time, I would say full time after like Wrestle Kingdom 10, I sort of bought in, and then from there it was all systems go. I would say the first match that like really, really got me hooked, and I would say it's probably one of my favorite matches of all time in New Japan, was and this was the first strong style match I ever saw. It was Ishii versus Hanma, 5-star match in New Beginning. I think it was 2015 or something. That I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was unbelievable. These guys were killing each other. Like Hanma Mania was going strong at that time, and I had just the passion, the energy, the emotion that brought out in me, and I was like, you know what, I think this is a product I should check out a little bit more, and that match got me hooked for sure.
Yeah, that Hanma Ishii match is just absolutely incredible. A lot of people they've kind of jumped in later and they know like New Japan dad Hanma, in the opener facing Young Lions, doing the jobs to bigger stars, but a lot of people missed out on that initial like Hanma Mania run, that almost like Daniel Bryan-esque run that Hanma had, and just with the ultimate underdog that he was, and yeah, those epic like strong style battles that he had with guys like Ishii was just so great.
Love it, so good.
So who's your favorite New Japan wrestler?
It's tough. I'm a Naito guy. I would say I'm a Naito and Hiromu guy. Those were guys that really appealed to my sensibilities. I love the Naito that is like spitting at his opponent. The true ingobernable.
Yeah, so like peak 2016 Naito.
Yeah, when he was really people were starting to get into that anti-hero character that he was playing. So, and I was into it too. So I would say, yeah, for sure, I'm a Naito guy. And then on the junior side, loved Hiromu. Loved his matches with Dragon Lee. Some of my favorite matches for sure in the junior division. Will Ospreay. That era of the juniors was something real special.
Oh, definitely. And then, what's your favorite NJPW match?
Other than Hanma Ishii in New Beginning, I would say there's a couple. The the first one that comes to my mind for sure is when Kenny beat Okada for the title. Second would be like Kenny Naito G1, and yeah, I would say those would be my top two favorite matches. And any like Naito Ibushi match is probably right up there as well.
Nice. Yeah, you can't go wrong with those combination of guys, and all those matches are definitely great. Yeah, standout New Japan matches.
Yeah, if there's Poison Ranas going on, it's that's my kind of match.
Moves, baby.
Yeah.
You mentioned Kota Ibushi, the Golden Star. So actually going to start off talking about him before we jump into Tag League. I know a lot of listeners have been asking about Ibushi and his whereabouts, his status. We do have a little bit of an update here from Uncle Dave in the Wrestling Observer newsletter from this past week. So Dave gave an update, and he noted that Ibushi, who's been out of action for more than a year, has been doing light training in the ring as of late, and his injured shoulder has held up well. Meltzer added that Ibushi's NJPW contract is scheduled to expire at the end of January 2023, though nothing is definitive regarding whether he'll be staying with NJPW or leaving the promotion. And we did have a question here from Rambone Slam Pig saying, what's next for Ibushi? It was rumored at the time, or I guess quote unquote announced, that he had signed this lifetime contract. But yeah, clearly not the case. I think like most New Japan contracts, it ends in January. And of course, if you follow Kota Ibushi on Twitter, he has been tweeting out a lot of weird tweets and talking about, looking forward to what's coming in January and talking about triangle rings and
I was gonna ask how many which ring is he training on? Like how many sides does it have?
That's a good question. I mean, so far I've only seen pictures of him in a regular ring, but who knows what he's doing on camera. He could be in a triangle ring and a star ring. Maybe he ordered a TNA 6-sided ring. Who knows what this guy is doing in his off time. So, like, if you want to know what I think should be next for Kota Ibushi, I think let that man roam. He's a Rolling Stone, man. Mm-hmm. You got to let Ibushi do his thing. Like, I think he's not one for rules and regulations, and this is a guy who's at his creative best when he's shooting fireworks at himself, flipping off of balconies, and telling super romantic love stories with his tag team partner. So I know what I hope he does. I hope to see a Golden Lovers reunion, or Kenny versus Ibushi in the Tokyo Dome, or somewhere that can hold a lot of people. That's what I would love to see. But are we going to see it? I don't know. Yeah, no, we've been joking in the Social Suplex Facebook chat that, Kenny, when he goes over for Wrestle Kingdom, he's going to have a contract in his back pocket, and it's going to be like a BTE skit. It rolls up with the contract in the back pocket. It's like, here, sign this, Ibushi, and just gets Ibushi into AEW. Which, I mean, obviously that would be awesome. In the past, Ibushi has mentioned how he doesn't want to live in America and has issue with traveling. So we've seen wrestlers kind of like Hikaru Shida and Riho going back and forth between Japan. Konosuke Takeshita, before he moved here to the U.S., he was kind of going back and forth too. So maybe they do kind of work out something where Ibushi could just come and go, doesn't have to live here. He can work AEW and then maybe just kind of freelance around Japan, which would be cool. But yeah, I mean, definitely a Golden Lovers reunion, another Golden Lovers versus Young Bucks match would be dope. Just another Kenny Ibushi match, because it seemed like they were setting up for another match after the G1 match they had in 2018. So yeah, would love to see him against Kenny or with Kenny in any capacity. Yeah, and think of this: Kenny, Ibushi, Takeshita, love triangle versus death triangle. Oh man, that would be dope. Sign me up. Sign me up any day for love triangle. Yes, let's do that. So let's shift gears now into World Tag League, Super Junior Tag League Tour. First thing that we got to note here, Chase Owens will be missing the rest of this tour. He had a death in the family. So New Japan announced that Owens and Balak Fale were forced to withdraw from the tournament due to this, and Owens and Fale will forfeit the remainder of their tour matches. So any team in the World Tag League who had not faced Chase or Fale yet ended up getting 2 points. And, usually when you have a scenario like this where somebody gets injured or has to be pulled from the tour in a round-robin tournament, that could really screw up the math here. But with Chase and Fale, they weren't winning a ton of matches. And when you look at the schedule of who they had left, they probably weren't winning those last few matches anyway. They probably would have been a spoiler on one of those matches, but they weren't really going to make a comeback or be big players towards the end. So I don't think that Chase and Fale being pulled from the rest of the tour is going to impact how this thing is going to end up. But we do give our condolences and prayers to Chase and his family during this time here.
Yeah, deepest sympathies to Chase Owens and his family. Very sad, and we hope to see him back in action again soon.
So with the World Tag League, we had 4 nights this past week. So we had World Tag League action on night 8, night 9, night 10, and night 12, which was today's show. So we'll start with the top of the leader block here. I'm going to start with United Empire's Aussie Open. Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, they're leading the block here, 14 points. They are 7-1. On night 8, they defeated the House of Torture team of Evil and Udro, 11 minutes and 20 seconds. On night 9, they lost their only loss to LIJ team of Sonata and Naito. Then on night 10, they bounced back by defeating Alex Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd, 11 minutes and 19 seconds. And then on night 12, today's show, we had a United Empire versus United Empire match, and they defeated their brethren in the Empire, Aaron Hanare and Great Okan, 13 minutes and 34 seconds. Matt, what have you been thinking about Aussie Open so far?
So this is my first time seeing Aussie Open over a period of time. First time seeing him on a tour. I've seen him one-offs in AEW. Seen him one-offs maybe in Strong. But man, Aussie Open are big boys. They are big. Kyle Fletcher and Dunkzilla is a big dude. I was very surprised. Mark Davis, right?
Yeah.
He gives me War Machine vibes with his the little cartwheel that he does.
Yeah.
And all of the sprinting that he does around. He seems to have an endless gas tank. Fletcher, for me, is very much in the same vein as a Will Ospreay. That similar competitive fire that they have. He's really cheeky. He's really arrogant. And he does a lot of you can hear him. He's always chatting.
Yeah.
He does a lot of audible selling, which is very much in a Will Ospreay type of vibe. So yeah, they've just been incredible. Even with House of Torture, dragging them to a respectable, maybe not respectable, but dragging them, kicking and screaming to a gentleman's 3. I think is yeoman's work. The Naito and Sonata match was a total banger.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Anything to motivate Naito, right? These guys were going to work. They had their working boots on, and the match against Okan and Hanare was probably, in my opinion, maybe match of the tournament so far. But they've had 2 of my fave heavyweight matches over the past, over the whole tournament for sure.
Yeah, they've been absolutely killing it. And, the story for them pretty much hasn't changed much since last week's update. These guys, they're getting the big push right now. New Japan is fully behind them. They're coming out here cleaning house. Like I mentioned, their only loss so far was night 9 against Naito and Sonata, which was a great main event there. Like you mentioned, you had main event fired up Naito there, as well as a motivated Sonata. So that was just a great main event there. I went 4 stars on that matchup there. Yeah, one of the longer matches of the tournament at 20 minutes and 20 seconds. But like you mentioned, yeah, even with House of Torture, it was a decent matchup. You know, with Fletcher and Davis, they're kind of no nonsense smash mouth guys, and it's so refreshing to have, you know, heels and a heel stable where they're not constantly cheating, they're not doing a lot of interference. Like, what makes them heels is just how arrogant they are, and the fact that they're as good as they say they are, and you hate it. And of course, you got to mention, you know, the orchestrator Gideon Gray is coming out and hyping these guys up before every match as well, and getting involved when he needs to kind of, you know, back off outside interference when he's, you know, against House of Torture and stuff like that. Besides that, yeah, he's been great introducing these guys, and, you know, occasional pop-ins on commentary and stuff like that. So he's great. The whole act is great right now of United Empire, and yeah, all their matches this week were really fun to watch.
Yeah, really, it's you know, United Empire really is the only faction right now that seems to have some sort of like organization to it. Like LIJ's there, but like it's, you know, you don't get where they're going so much as you do with United Empire. So, you know, and Gideon Gray, like, talk about earning your paycheck while you're down there. The promo he cut after the Hanare and Okan Aussie Open match,
that was great.
Coach Gideon, like, give me that fire all the time. Like that was a face promo, like from Gideon, right? That it wasn't his little like you know, dirt eating grin that he's got on his face all the time. You know, when he's talking Japanese, I love it. You know, the crowd loves it. So yeah, totally earning every dollar.
Yeah, especially on those nights where they're running both tournaments. He's out there 3 times with Okan Hanare, Aussie Open, and Catch 2-2. And like you mentioned, the crowd loves him. He's getting big reactions. The crowd, they're popping for his, you know, his konnichiwa. I am the orchestrator, Gideon Gray. The crowd's just like losing their mind and popping for him. So yeah, he's just been a great addition. But yeah, today's show, that motivational speech after the match against Okan and Hanare was just, yeah, that was great too. But yeah, with Aussie Open too, also the match against the LA Dojo boys, Coughlin and Kidd from night 10. That was a short little, it was 11 minutes, but man, they were chopping the crap out of each other on that match.
Gabe got killed.
Yeah.
Man, Davis was gooning people that match. Like, just like, I would not want to get hit by that guy. His hands are huge. He is a thick man. And, you know, got to hand it to Gabe, you know, fighting spirit Gabe. He wanted that smoke, and boy, he got it.
He sure did. Yeah.
And the crowd reactions was like, because I think this was a cheering crowd night.
Yeah.
So it makes it so much more like, whoa, like everybody in the whole building knows, lets you know how hard that was. So yeah, getting the audible crowds has been really great. I remember the first night I threw it on. I think night 1 was a cheering, and it was just, oh God, so refreshing. I can't wait till it's back full time. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, the cheering has been great, and yeah, that's kind of been like the pros and cons of this tour, where you have some nights it's cheering and some nights it's not. And so yeah, it gets really hard to get into it when you get like a cheering night, and then everybody's, you know, popping and clapping and, you know, getting really into the show, and then you go to the next night, it's like just a clap only night, and you're like, man, really missing that energy. But overall, I mean, yeah, the cheering shows have been fun. And, you know, the English commentary has been on delay, but I've been watching most of the stuff in Japanese. I think Milano, Collection AT, and Liger and all those guys have been great, especially Milano. You know, getting behind some of these guys here and just his reactions to stuff is great. So overall, yeah, these matches this tournament's been fun. You know, a lot of people are looking for cherry pick suggestions. I think from Aussie Open, I would say I think the LA Dojo match, the Naito and Sonata match, and then today's match against Hanare and Okan are definitely matches to check out.
Yeah, agree.
We got a question here from Ocock890 from Reddit. Says, if Aussie Open sticks around, would you like to see the occasional singles match, like in a New Japan Cup, or a singles match that previews for a tag match?
I'm gonna say no. Just in the context of the United Empire, with all of the singles guys that they've got, Sending Aussie Open off on their own to do singles matches. I think they got enough singles guys in the United Empire, but if I'm going to see a Kyle Fletcher match, I would, maybe scratch that. Kyle Fletcher, I think, would be able to put on a really interesting singles match.
Yeah, Mark Davis was injured. I think it was like the end of 2019, leading into the pandemic, and Kyle Fletcher did do a lot of single stuff in Rev Pro. He put on a lot of weight during the pandemic. He was a beefy boy during the pandemic and dropped it all. But yeah, he was doing a lot of single stuff that was pretty good. I think he had a match with Ospreay in the empty arena match that was really good. But yeah, I think Kyle Fletcher, I mean, if they wanted to mix it up and throw him in singles, I think that'd be good. But I mean, I think they should continue to establish Aussie Open as the main tag unit of the Empire, like you were saying. But I mean, if you want to spice things up, throw them both of them in a New Japan Cup. You want to put both of them in a G1 if you need to fill spaces. I think that'd be fun. So let's take a look now at the next team here. TMDK, Shane Hayes and Mikey Nichols. They're coming in with 10 points, 5 wins, and 2 losses. On night 8, they defeated Sonata and Naito. On night 9, they defeated Archer and Suzuki, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Night 10, they got 2 points via the Chase and Fale forfeit. And then on night 12, today's show, in the main event, they lost to the Bebop tag team of Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano at 12 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yeah, TMDK is a great add to this tag division. If they're around for long term, they add a lot to this division. I think we're seeing on both sides of the leagues, there's a ton of turnover in the division and realigning with partners and whatnot. So having more dedicated tag team specialists helps the division and makes all of these matches much more compelling. So I'm all for TMDK as a higher end tag team in the division. They've got a weird dynamic. Mm-hmm. Like Shane Haste is like this guy who feels like he still goes out and parties at the bar, and Mad Mikey is sort of like aged himself out of these activities. Like Mad Mikey looks like a jacked accountant, and Shane Haste looks like he's in like his 7th year of undergrad.
That is perfect. Yeah, I think that sums him up perfectly. But yeah, they're definitely a welcome addition in the tag team division here in New Japan. I didn't see any of their Noah stuff. I first was introduced to them when they were in NXT as TM61, and I thought they were a very underrated tag team on there. I know that they had a really good takeover match against Authors of Pain at some point a few years ago, but they were a really solid tag team there in NXT, and I'm glad they're back here in New Japan. We've seen them on Strong, doing some stuff, mixing it up with some guys over there, and I'm glad they're here in Japan as a focal point in this division. Looks like they're in a 3-way tie here with 10 points, so they're definitely one of the teams that's going to be alive going in to the end of this. We only have 2 more nights for World Tag League, so the last couple nights will be very crucial for TMDK and how they end up placing here.
Yeah, I think TMDK could use a manager. Maybe Bad Dude Tito, not as a manager, but just as like a second that would get them over, because like Bad Dude Tito is super over. Oh yeah, and I think he could carry that energy for TMDK, so they can do the work in the ring.
Definitely, I'm all for some more Bad Dude Tito screen time. Yeah, that would be great to have him out there. Second in those guys. For this week for TMDK, I don't think anything really was like a standout match here. I mean, they had the LIJ match, but it was only 12 minutes. I think it was the semi-main that night, and so I mean, it was a good match, but it wasn't like the Osteopian LIJ match.
Yeah, I think I had it around like 3.25, something like that. I'm not a star rater. I have no consistency. I have no great context for rating. So I'll just throw a number on it, how it makes me feel inside. But the one thing about the Naito and Sonata match, Naito is such a clown. He is roasting Mikey Nichols. The crowd is chanting Naito, Naito, and he's Naito's clapping, Mikey, Michael, Michael, and I am dying. Like, this is what I mean. Like, Naito does not take this stuff seriously, but totally disrespecting his opponent. I felt bad for Mikey because, like, I don't know. He doesn't have the charisma of a Naito, right? And Naito's just totally getting one over on him here, ribbing him in front of the whole crowd. So yeah, serviceable match for sure. The Suzuki-gun match was totally weird. I don't know. Sub 2 minutes is like, well,
that was anything for me. That was on one of the nights where it was both tournament nights. We had both World Tag League and Junior Tag League in the same night, so a lot of those matches were pretty quick, and they were trying to run through stuff. But yeah, that was super quick though. Kind of like a pre-match little brawl there. The bell rang, and then before you know it, Shane Hayes like rolled up Suzuki real quick and got the win in and out. It was like, what was that? So yeah, that was kind of the start of the downfall for like the Suzuki Archer team too. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to their match. I think they still got Aussie Open, right? I think on one of the last nights. Yeah. That'll be the measuring stick for them, I think.
Yeah, and also that they're still in a strong position right now with 10 points. I think that, and we'll go into it when we talk about the matches coming up this week. I think that Team DK is in line to be in the finals, probably against Aussie Open in the end there. So let's take a look at the next team here. Tetsuya Naito and Sonata, they are also with 10 points with 5 wins and 2 losses. Like we mentioned, on night 8, they lost to TMDK. On night 9, they defeated Aussie Open 20 minutes and 20 seconds. On night 10, they defeated the Bebop tag team of Tanahashi and Toru Yano in 16 minutes and 18 seconds. And then on night 12 today's show, they got their 2 points via forfeit from Chase and Fale.
Yeah, who hates tag team wrestling more, Gato or Naito? At least we got like some shirt off Naito energy this tournament. I thought we were gonna get t-shirt Naito for most of this, but he doesn't take tag team wrestling too seriously. So like, I don't know how confident you could feel like putting the straps on them and having a legitimate run with those guys, but I think it would just probably do it a disservice. But they're there. They're doing Naito and Sonata things. Like, their floor is very high, I'd say. Mm-hmm. The match with Aussie Open was a total banger. The one Sonata had Fletcher in the skull end, and Fletcher just totally went limp at one point. I thought it was a really, really cool little spot there to show people how to sell the skull end a little bit better, right? It's not the best looking submission move around, but I thought Fletcher did some yeoman's work there selling that move.
Yeah, he did. And yeah, with Naito and Sonata, I mean, this is kind of a placeholder tournament for them. Like, obviously, they're going to be featured at Wrestle Kingdom in something big, but right now, I feel like you said with Naito, like some nights it's t-shirt Naito and just kind of goofing off and making fun of his opponents and just kind of, taking it easy. I mean, it's World Tag League, and he's Tetsuya Naito. So I get his state of mind of like, I'm not going to kill myself on this tour, but at the same time, you do expect some big stars to have some great matches here. So
he did the hard thing is he did. Like, they went out and crushed it against Aussie Open. Mm-hmm. Totally great match. Like the match against Toru Yano and Tana, like, I was interested in this only because like Tanahashi was playing Rudo a little bit, and I wanted to see that interaction between Naito, who I believe is like true Rudo in his heart, in his soul, where Tana plays one on TV. Right. So it was, and that was the case, right? I think they ended up Toru Yano and Tana ended up wrestling face that match rather than heel against Sonata and Naito.
Yeah, and usually whenever Naito and Tanahashi get in the ring together, it's usually pretty good stuff. I mean, they didn't really go out of their way to do anything super special on that night, but it was still a fun matchup. I do think, though, that Naito has been looking a little rough on this tour. Like, I feel like some of his moves just aren't quite as crisp, and I don't know, if that's him just kind of trying to take it easy or his knees are just really hurting right now. Because I feel like there's a lot of stuff, all of his like signature moves he's been kind of slipping up on.
Yeah, and you wonder, like, Naito, you can take a rest, man. Let Shingo tag with Sonata, like for tag league.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't go with the Shingo Sonata connection and kind of give Naito this month off to get ready for Tokyo Dome. But I guess also we don't know what is in store for Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. So maybe there's going to be something that his angle is going to get kicked off somehow at the end of this tournament that leads to his match. So maybe that's why he need to be in here.
Yeah, maybe he's going to be begging Zach for a match, or begging somebody. He's going to beg somebody for a title match is what's going to happen. He's going to go and he's going to insult them, and then he's going to beg for a title match, like how he was begging for the tag team title match a couple of months ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could see maybe he ends up in the Never title picture. Maybe he'll face off against, the winner of Hikuleo and Carl Anderson. Who knows? But from this past week, I would say for LIJ, mainly if you're cherry picking and short on time, probably just the Aussie Open match really was kind of the standout here from their week. So then moving on, the other team that's with 10 points, the Bishamon team of Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. So on night 8, they lost to Tanahashi and Yano, 13 minutes and 44 seconds. On night 9, they got their 2 points via the forfeit from Chase and Fale. Then on night 10, they defeated Aaron Hanare and Great Okan, 13 minutes and 21 seconds. And then on night 12, today's show, they defeated the Suzuki-gun team of Lance Archer and Minoru Suzuki at 13 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yeah. Bishamon are in the mix, as they should be. Great work in, night out. I don't think a Bishamon Aussie Open final was out of the question. I think that's a guaranteed banger for me. Other than that, like they're a very solid tag team. Yoshihashi has come so far, dragging Goto with him. Poor Yoshihashi's got to get Goto over. Times have changed. But yeah, they're putting in good work. There's been nothing that's been super excellent. I think the Great Okan Hinare match was probably one of their better efforts. I think with a little more time, I'd like to see those guys go again. I think they could get into some real rough housing. Big chops, big slaps. Yoshihashi's a big chopper. I'd like to see him and Hanare just beat each other's chests black and blue.
Yeah, Yoshihashi, man, he has really been killing it, and now he has the new gear. They got the Bishamon music. Like, he's motivated and fired up and having a really good tournament here. And like you mentioned, yeah, they're in contention to be alive in the finals. It's going to be really interesting to watch these last 2 nights with Bishamon, LIJ, and TMDK, because they're all at 10 points, and they all kind of have wins over each other. Like, Bishamon's beaten Naito and Sonata, TMDK's beaten Naito and Sonata, Naito and Sonata has beaten Aussie Open. So, there's so much interesting, tiebreaker scenarios in play here for which one of these teams is going to end up in the finals. But yeah, like you mentioned, Bishamon could be there. They are the main domestic Japanese team that New Japan's pushing right now. And if they want to really drive point the home, but yeah, Bishamon is our standard tag team. They could get in the finals there and have another match of Aussie Open.
Yep, something I'd like to see for sure.
Yeah, and with that, that would end up being a rematch from early in the tournament, which Aussie Open won. So if people are thinking Aussie Open's going to win, if Bishamon gets in the final, I would hate for them to have to lose again. So who knows? Maybe that could open the door for Bishamon to win, and maybe Aussie Open still gets their way in the match somehow into the 3-way at Wrestle Kingdom. So we'll see what they do there. Moving on to the next team, Great Okan and Aaron Hanare. They have 8 points, 4 wins and 4 losses. On night 8, they lost to Archer and Suzuki, 13 minutes and 34 seconds. On night 9, they defeated the House of Torture team of Evil and Yujiro, 9 minutes and 58 seconds. Then on night 10, they defeated Hanare and Okan, 13-21. And then on night 12, they lost to Aussie Open, 13 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yeah, they're here, man. They're doing good work in the tourney. You know, they've turned it up sort of the last couple of matches. I don't know where they're fitting in the pecking order of the division right now. I guess we'll need to see. They're sort of a kind of a new team. I guess we'll need to see what Cobb does when he gets back. But honestly, I think Henare and Cobb would make a super compelling tag team for me. Let Ocon cook with some of these younger guys in the singles division. And, but no, I got no problem with these guys. Ocon, former tag champ. Henare, he's getting that slow burn still. Slow burn Henare.
Yeah.
But their match of the week for sure. Aussie Open, total banger. And the match versus Bishamon was better than average for sure.
Yeah, the Bishamon match was really good. Yeah, that night 10 there, a tough loss there, but really good, hard-hitting matchup. But yeah, definitely like you mentioned, the standout for these guys this week was today's show, night 12 against Aussie Open. It was the first time we ever saw United Empire versus United Empire. So it was interesting to see kind of what their style was going to be. A lot of times we see like the Bull Club versus Bull Club, and they're ha-ha and joking and too sweeting and trying to pull one up, pull the rug under each other and one up each other. Well, this was a straight up like, hey, we're both two great teams. We're both competitors. We're going to go head to head and make the best team win. And that's exactly what we got. No shenanigans, just hard hitting action.
This was very much Will Ospreay versus Okada type competition where, when he was junior champ and Okada was champ and and they had that match, that was the kind of like internal competition that we saw with them. I think one of the funny things I thought was Suzuki chasing Gideon Gray.
Yes.
All around. That will never not make me laugh. Which is funny. And, I was thinking watching that Suzuki match, like Ocon could really be like the spiritual successor to Minoru Suzuki in many ways. Like that, he's got that MMA background. He can be like totally like deranged and crazy. And, he's got, he does things sort of his own way. So that's, that was something I thought about during that match where like, that's sort of like who I can see him making himself after.
Yeah, I think they've only kind of scratched the surface with Great Ocon. I think there's so much more there with him. And so hopefully we'll see more of that next year, more of a single spotlight, especially since now you have Aussie Open as kind of the main heavyweight tag team. Maybe you can do some more single stuff with him, Henare, and Cobb next year. But yeah, Ocon is awesome, and he's been a great in these matches here and helping along, leading Henare along in these matches as well. And so yeah, the match against Aussie Open was awesome. The Bishamon match was really hard hitting there. House of Torture match was kind of whatever. It was a House of Torture match. And yeah, then the Suzuki Archer match was another hard hitting matchup there. So yeah, so these guys are looking good. Due to the forfeit, they only have one match left. So they will only have the ability to get to 10 points. So they would have to hope and pray that Bishamon, LIJ, and TMDK all lose their next two matches and then get some kind of 4-way 10-point tie there. It's like their only hope, but I have to go back and see who they lost to in that up mix. So they might not even have the tiebreaker against some of those guys.
That would be some real Gatology.
Yeah, we need Dave, scrambling his notes, breaking it down, like all the possibilities of who beats who and what the tiebreaker scenario is. So they lost to Bishamon, so they wouldn't have the tiebreaker over those guys. Let's see, did they face LIJ already? I think they did. So yeah, I feel like they don't really have the tiebreaker over any of the teams that are in that 10-point slot. So even if they get the 10 points, it's not going to really do them much good. So at this point, we can pretty much say they're eliminated.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah,
but they had a really great tournament and a showcase match against Aussie Open. So they were there. They made it enjoyable. They were one of the teams that you're not disappointed after watching one of their matches, unless it's against like House of Torture, which was absolutely terrible.
Yeah. So another team coming in with 8 points, but these guys are 4-3 because they haven't gotten their they already faced Fale and Chase early in the tournament. So this is the the Bebop tag team of Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano. So they're 8 points, 4 wins and 3 losses. Night 8, they defeated the Bishamon team of Goto and Yoshihashi. On night 9, they defeated Alex Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd, 4 minutes and 2 seconds. On night 10, they lost to Naito and Sonata. And then on night 12, today's show, they defeated TMDK in the main event, 12 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yeah, at first I thought, Yano and Tana, how the mighty have fallen.
The mighty don't
was there
kneel and the
was
mighty
there no
have
one
fallen.
else on the entire roster to tag with Hiroshi Tanahashi? Like, my God, what a travesty. But the approach that they're taking with Yano being a little bit more aggressive, a little less silly, no tape, and Tana playing the Rudo is giving us a little something to, sink our teeth into. And like Tanahashi with the evening wear hair, I like it, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, the thing here with them teaming up, Yano's like, I need my merch money. We need to sell some Bebop, shirts again. Season 2 shirts. We got to run it back. So they teamed last year for the first time, teaming up here again. Based off of the Bebop anime in Japan with the characters Hiroshi and Toru. That's kind of what they've been kind of cosplaying here. And Yano has the season 2 shirt, so he's selling a bunch of merch off of this team up with Tanahashi. But like you mentioned, we're getting an interesting Rudo version of Tanahashi here. Not afraid to bend and break the rules. I mean, he's not busting out wrenches or anything, but he is taking a little bit of liberties with the rules, and it's always fun when you see Tana in that kind of way.
Yeah, and let me tell you, the pre-match pose, that's going to make for the hottest mixtape album cover in the streets.
Yeah.
Someone needs to make a meme of that, please, out there in social suplex land. Get us the close-up, Tana and Toru, but the explicit lyrics on the bottom. You got the makings of a good meme.
Yeah, and and these guys, I mean, they've mainly been having like these 12, 13-minute matches, and they've been fun and enjoyable. They really haven't, I wouldn't say, had any really standout bangers in this tournament. But it's been, good fun. And in this past week, I would probably say their best match was probably, I would say, either the Bishamon match or the TMDK match. It was probably their best outing this week.
Yeah, that's what I got. Bishamon I liked the most. I watched the Naito and Sonata match on 1.5 speed, and I was like, this is slow. It felt slow even at 1.5 speed, and I was like, oh man, this match a little bit too long. But seeing Tanahashi getting 3 encores each night, and that's cool to see. Always cool to see Naito. And this is what I mean Tanahashi. This is what I mean when Tanahashi he plays a Rudo on TV, where he can't help but show his affection to the crowd afterwards and give them the encores and do all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it's my dad's a heel wrestler. He's he's playing the role and he's having fun with it. These guys have been fun to watch. And so unlike Okan and Hanare, these guys are actually still alive even at 8 points. So they have, because they already faced Fale and Chase, they have 2 matches left, which means they have the possibility to get to 12 points if they win their last 2 matches. So they're very much alive and could end up, if Aussie Open doesn't lose, either tied with Aussie Open or, actually no, because Aussie Open's at 14. Yeah, so they could get to 12 and then face Aussie Open again in the finals. So,
let's hope not.
I don't think it's going to happen, but the possibility is there. So you got to keep your eyes open on for the Bebop tag team. I'm sure they'll face some spoilers. We'll look at their schedule coming up here in a second, but they're still alive.
Yeah.
So now let's move on to the bottom of the block here. All these teams, these guys are going to be eliminated. They're out of the running. So we'll start with the Suzuki-gun team of Minoru Suzuki and the Murder Hawk monster Lance Archer. They are sitting at 6 points, 3 wins, and 4 losses, so that they have 2 matches left. The best they can do is get to 10 points, and again, like that Empire team of Okan Hanare, they would need some kind of crazy, hopeful, like 10-way, or 4-way, like 10-point tie, but they've lost so much they don't really have tiebreakers, so that's pretty much out the window. Even if they get to 10, they are not getting into the finals. So on night 8, they defeated Hanare and Okan, 13 minutes and 34 seconds. On night 9, they lost to TMDK. Night 10, they lost to House of Torture. And then on today's show, night 12, they lost to the Bishamon team of Goto and Yoshihashi.
Yeah, Suzuki-gun are total chaos. They are absolute chaos. The gimmick can get a little bit tiresome. It feels like Lance Archer is not fully into it. Like, he feels a little less savage than he normally is.
Yeah.
But like when you hear the crowds cheering and how much they love Archer and hearing Kaze Ninure in stereo sound, it really compensates for that chaos formula where like from start to finish, it's almost the exact same match, plunder, jump start, plunder, whole bunch of choking from Suzuki, a couple of close pile driver spots. I thought there was a cool spot between Great Okan and Lance Archer where they did the dueling claw spot.
Yeah.
I wish they would have carried that out a little bit longer. It would have been like a little bit more dramatic. It would, I thought that was a little interesting part. The match versus TMDK, obviously, like, weird. You can't even give it anything. You can't rate it. There's no discourse to be had about it.
Yeah.
And the match against the House of Torture, like, it was really great to like let Archer have some time to work. But I feel like he's not letting loose.
Yeah. So yeah, you were saying, Archer, really not really showing a whole ton here. I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, again, it's World Tag League. So he's at some of these, smaller cities, some of these gyms. Some nights are not even cheer nights. So I think he's making the most of it. I mean, it's always fun seeing him, beat up the Young Lions on his entrance. And when they do have the cheer crowds, people chanting, the Everybody Dies with his entrance music. But yeah, I mean, these guys, they really haven't had any standout matches. It seems like Suzuki has been kind of like the weak link here. Pretty much every match they've lost here, Suzuki's eating the pin. Like you mentioned, the TMDK, Shane Hayes rolled him up pretty quickly. The House of Torture, they got outsmarted by House of Torture and Evil hitting the Everything's Evil on him, and Yujiro getting the pin there on him. And then today's show, he fell to the Shoto finishing move of Goto and Yoshihashi. So yeah, Suzuki's just been eating a ton of losses, and Archer just kind of doing Archer things. Yeah,
it's a little bit lackluster in terms of what you hope to see from them, but I don't think there was any expectation for Suzuki going to be at the top of the pack.
Yeah, even though with Archer, being the AEW guy, it's the AEW clout's not getting him much favors here in World Tag League.
No.
So after that, we got Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens. So they're ending the tournament with 4 points, 2 wins, and 7 losses. Like we mentioned, due to a death in Owens' family, he had to withdraw from the tournament, so they had to forfeit the rest of their matches. So night 8 was their last night of action, where they defeated Alex Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd in 10 minutes and 5 seconds.
Yeah, not a lot to say. Chase and Fale, they weren't looking great from the outset there. That's another team where you watch in 1.5 and you're like, hey, what speed is this on? But yeah, it's unfortunate that they didn't get to finish out the tour. But yeah, makes for a lighter night of tag league.
Yeah, one less match, and I know Fale has been wrestling in some openers against Young Lions and doing some other like mixed 6-man tag stuff, but I've been skipping through all that stuff.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Evil and Yujiro Takahashi from the House of Torture. They're sitting with 2 points right now. They're 1-6. So night 8, they lost to Aussie Open. Night 9, they lost to Hanare and Okan. Night 10, they got their first win there by defeating Archer and Suzuki. And then night 12, they lost to Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd.
Yeah. Speaking of skips, House of Torture, man. Like, how is Yujiro showing up in T-shirt night every night? Like, Evil Watanabe, Io Sky's husband, is showing out here night after night in full gear, and Yujiro can't even be bothered. He's in basketball shorts and his House of Torture tee. You know, I don't like being a hater, but like Yujiro is he's being lazy. Like, he's barely getting that boot up on people. His sliding drop kick looks like he's just falling on the ground. It's bad. Like they don't even have tag team offense. There's so little to enjoy with this team. They're rudderless. The one thing I like is like Kevin Kelly being like, Jay White, calling out his Jay White's feeble management of his team here. They've had a terrible tag league. Absolutely nothing redeeming about any of their performances. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I'll say the only thing, like I said last week, the most compelling thing about these guys in this tournament is the fact that their cheating just keeps getting ousted here. Like they're one step behind of everybody. Everybody's had these guys scouted. United Empire, they have their guys on deck in case people run out. And all these teams have been able to just really outmaneuver all the Dick Togo interference, the show interference, all that stuff, all the House of Torture shenanigans have been failing here. And it's been fun to see, especially, after during the pandemic and the last year where these guys were just constantly cheating and constantly winning and lights out and ropes and wrenches and all this stuff. It's like, finally, the faces are smart now. They're a step ahead of these guys. Their cheating is not working. Even the refs are trying to be a little bit more keen and aware of stuff. So that's been great to see, and I'm glad that Gabe Kidd and Coughlin got the big win over them today.
Yeah, that was great to see. And that match was pretty average, except for that ending there, and that suplex from Coughlin was amazing. It was really, really great to see. So yeah. That was the high point for House of Torture.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, if people are cherry picking, I would say you can pretty much skip all their matches. I mean, if you want to see Gabe Kidd and Coughlin get their first win, maybe watch that one. And Milano was pretty emotional in that one too. Once those guys were firing back and coming back, he's like, Gabe Kittle, Coughlin. So yeah, Milano is always great to listen to. But yeah, House of Torture 1-6. They got they have one match, or no, they got 2 matches left. So yeah, the best they can do is be 3-6 at 6 points. So yeah, they're out of here.
Does Yujiro make a roster anywhere else in the world?
Probably not. I mean, that's that that dojo loyalty, as our good friend Rachel, I like to say, the funky dojo. if you train the funky dojo, you got a job for life, and that's what happened here to Yujiro. And it's so funny, in old Wrestling Observers, Dave talking about the No Limit tag team of Yujiro and Naito, and he's like, man, Yujiro has a lot of upside. Like he's gonna be the breakout guy of this team.
He was the guy, right?
It's like, look at it now. Like, nope.
Good thing Uncle Dave didn't go into like talent scouting or talent management. He would have been broke.
So the final team here, also 1-6 with 2 points, is the LA Dojo team of the Android, Alex Coughlin, and Gabriel Kidd. On night 8, They lost to Fale and Chase night 9. They lost to Tanahashi and Yano on night 10. They lost to Aussie Open. And then, like we mentioned on today's show, they got their first win by beating Evil and Yujiro Takahashi.
I really like these guys together. Coughlin is an absolute freak. Slamming Fale was so impressive. I think Coughlin could be a really, really good tag wrestler. I think the amount of time that they're given in their matches is pretty appropriate. You know, you get Gabe spirit spots all day. He's thumping his chest. He's screaming. He's slapping people, and then you get these like freakazoid power spots from Coughlin. You know, really, really enjoy them, and I think they're a great tag team for the LA Dojo. I saw them talking about wanting. They beat the House Torture. They want that. They want that Never Six Man. Get your boy Clark. Rescue Clark Connors. Bring him in, and like, let's go. That is a great Never tag team right there. I would get behind that team any day.
Yeah, that would be a ton of fun. Yeah, if you throw in Connors, you want to put in Kevin Knight, or there's rumors that Fredericks might be back. Any of those LA Dojo guys together would be a great trio. And so yeah, they're calling their shot for the Never 6-man titles. We do know we got Road to Tokyo Dome later this month, and of course in previous years at Wrestle Kingdom there was the Never Openweight Gauntlet. So either maybe they're going to shot at Road Tokyo Dome, or maybe they'll be a part of the gauntlet if they do it again this year. But yeah, I'm glad that they got the big win here. I mean, the whole story with these guys has been just miscommunications. I mean, they're not used to being a tag team. They've mostly done single stuff when they were young lions and their excursion stuff. And so first time teaming together, and they're facing a lot of experienced teams here. So there's been a lot of miscommunication, bumping into each other, refusing to tag at certain points in the matches. But they finally got together here. They beat Evil and Yujiro. They beat a former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, current 2/3 of the Never 6-man champion. So they only have 2 matches left, but I mean they could end 3-6. That would end them with 6 points, which would be fine for them. I wish they did a little bit better points wise, but they were trying to tell a story here with these guys. But I mean their matches have been enjoyable, like you mentioned, man. Gabe Kidd's hard hitting, and he's just running his mouth, kind of like you're mentioning with Kyle Fletcher. Like Gabe Kidd's just running his mouth the whole time, talking trash, antagonizing his opponents, and he's just such a cocky little prick. And like, I guess they're kind of a face team. I guess Coughlin's more face, and he's kind of maybe a tweener or a heel, but he's just so arrogant and cocky. You're kind of happy when he gets his mouth shut at points in the match.
He feels free, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He felt like a guy that really needed to bust open, and I think we're seeing that, right? He's out of the black trunks. His he's blossomed, he's bloomed. He can, fulfill his like creative side, right? So good to see him happy. He looks happy. Good to see him competing so hard, and he seems to love getting in chop battles with big boys.
Yeah.
So good for him. I hope this is part of like a good run for him and Coughlin. I think Never 6-mans is a great spot for them, and they add a ton to the division, whether they're in the US or whether they're in Japan. These guys are amazing. Alex Coughlin is chiseled out of marble.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is unreal. All of his power spots are crazy. He did like a double back body drop on Aussie Open, which was super impressive. Slamming Fale, like some really, really crazy stuff. I even like how he walks out sort of like an android. He's like,
he's walking out. I love his music. It's the android. good.
Yeah, and I don't think he's like Dynamo on the mic. He's kind of got like that 80s. I haven't seen a ton of the backstage stuff, but what I have seen, he's got that 80s wrestler. He's sort of like screaming into the microphone type of deal. So love to see these guys and want to see him more.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are just, dumb jock energy, like our friend Joe Lando likes to say on the flagship. And yeah, just two like big, like just these meatheads going out here, throwing people, chopping people, yelling and screaming. It's awesome. And yeah, these guys are definitely, a welcome addition to the roster. And I hope we get to see, more of them up the card and doing bigger and better things. And you also with Gabe Kidd, he's doing his Tenzan tribute stuff now. He's got the Tenzan hair. He's doing the TTD. He's doing the Mongolian chop. He's doing the moonsault. So a lot of Tenzan tribute stuff from him.
Yeah, his moonsault looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Their commentary, their backstage comments from this last win, where they're telling each other, "I love you, man. I love you, man." It was sort of like the downside of their story arc, right? They had all of those challenges, they had the conflict that they overcame, and then at the end of it, they're like, "I love you, man. I love you, man. We've been through so much." So yeah, a great little story. And even in their matches, they had like great little like micro stories that they were telling, like, the slam. I keep going back to the slam for Fale because it's so impressive to me, because Fale doesn't let people slam him, right? He doesn't let a lot of guys do that to him. So, those little mini stories of they're trying to achieve something throughout the match or something's happening, really enjoyable.
Yeah. So we only have 2 nights left for World Tag League action. So night 14, which will be December 9th, and then night 16 of this tour, which will be December 12th. So on night 14, December 9th, we will have Alex Coughlin and Gabe Kidd. They'll be facing off against Bishamon, Goto, and Yoshihashi. So again, Coughlin and Kidd, they're out. If they win, I mean, they're fighting for pride here. They'll get 2 points. They'll get to 4, and then Bishamon, if they lose, they'll be stuck at 10. If they win, they'll get to 12. Bishamon really needs to win this if they want to increase their chances of getting into the finals. United Empire of Aaron Henare and Great Okan, they're going to get their 2 points via forfeit. They're supposed to face Fale and Chase. Then Bebop, tag team of Tanahashi and Yano, they will face Evil and Yujiro. I think we're going to get an upset alert. I think Evil and Yujiro might win this here to stop Bebop tag team from getting more points and advancing into that kind of 4-way tie scenario. But we'll see what happens there. In the semi-main event that night, we'll have Aussie Open facing off against TMDK. Really big, important match here. For TMDK, especially if they can beat the team here that's on top of the block, that gets them in a good scenario for tiebreakers. And if they can win this and then win their next match, they're definitely getting into the finals.
Bragging rights for Oceania there.
Yeah. Then the main event this night will be Lance Archer and Minoru Suzuki against Sonata and Tetsuya Naito. I'm expecting probably LIJ to win this. I mean, Suzuki and Archer could play spoiler and keep Naito and Sonata at 10. But I think Naito and Sonata will get to 12 here to tighten up their lead in this block.
Yeah, I would agree. I think LIJ's got this. I think Bishamon is probably going to take that as well. Bebop and House of Torture. I don't want to say I don't care, but I don't care. And yeah, Aussie Open TMDK. Yeah, that's the marquee matchup, right? That's going to be a banger. And I say like TMDK might be in. I'm going to call an upset here. TMDK.
Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. Actually, I think, with TMDK, Bishamon, and LIJ, I think, all three of them will probably win, so you keep that 3-way tie scenario going into the last night, so all three of them will then be tied at 12 points, and we'll have opportunity to go into the finals. So let's take a look at night 16, December 12th, final night of action for the World Tag League. We'll have Coughlin and Kidd against Archer and Suzuki. Should be a fun, hard-hitting matchup. Really no stakes there because they're both pretty much out. Then Bishamon versus TMDK. So again, I think it makes more sense when you look at night 14 to this night. Both of these teams being tied once again, and it's kind of being, almost a tiebreaker, go to the finals matchup here between these two teams.
Yep, that's what it looks like. You know what? Now that I'm looking at it here, I'm thinking it's a Bishamon Aussie Open final. I think Bishamon, beats TMDK. I think House of Torture spoils it for LIJ. That's what I'm saying. I think they got to do something for the locals.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You're going to see a Bishamon Aussie Open final.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So the rest of this night, you'll also have Bebop against Hanare and Okan. Aussie Open, they'll be getting their 2 points via forfeit from Fale and Chase. And then the main event, like you mentioned, LIJ and against Evil and Yujiro. Yeah, I definitely think that we'll get a spoiler upset here with Evil and Yujiro stopping Sonata and Naito from getting into the finals. And then Naito and Sonata will end with 12 points. And then, Bishamon against Aussie Open, I think makes sense because you want to have, again, the Japanese domestic tag team in there. I don't think you want to do two foreign teams against each other in the finals. I mean, you can, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think they would want to have Bishamon in there.
Because then you're sending two foreign teams to Wrestle Kingdom, right? And there's no domestic talent in the finals or even in Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah.
And the hard thing, though, is like if Bishamon wins and goes to the finals, it'll be Bishamon Aussie Open, which they already lost to Aussie Open, which, I mean, I don't think they would do. I think the match, you want to do Aussie Open versus FTR at the Dome. So I think it stinks for Bishamon to lose again, but maybe that's the thing that make you think that they have more of a shot because they lost already. But I would still think that Aussie Open would win that.
And maybe they're angling for a three-way.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we've seen in the past.
FTR had a great match with Bishamon too, right? Didn't they have one in AEW? Who did Bishamon face in AEW?
So Bishamon faced I'm trying to remember now. It was on the pre-show of Forbidden Door.
So it wouldn't have been FTR. Have they faced FTR?
They faced them in no, I don't think they have, because the title match was a 3-way with FTR against Cobb and Okan and Roppongi Vice, and then FTR faced Aussie Open, and then they faced Cobb and Okan in a straight up tag. So yeah, they have not faced Bishamon yet.
Okay. So that's something I want to see. I would like to see Bishamon versus FTR. That's a compelling match for me.
Bishamon, I think Bishamon faced the Bucks, I think, on a Rampage before Forbidden Door, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, Bishamon FTR is a fresh matchup. And here's the thing, they might want to protect FTR. There might be some politics at play. So if they do a 3-way, you could have Aussie Open pin Bishamon or Bishamon pin Aussie Open to get the belts off FTR without FTR taking the pin.
Yeah, and that's how Hanare or Okan and Cobb lost the belts too, right?
Right, yeah, they lost. FTR pinned our good friend Rocky Romero and Trent to get the belts, so they could do kind of a similar scenario here. Which, I mean, I think the straight up Aussie Open FTR 2 would be the better match to do, but I understand and wanted to get Fit Bishamon on the card, and also TK might not want FTR losing at the Dome, so you throw in, a Bishamon in there to kind of either eat the pin, or who knows, they can pull the upset and pin Aussie Open and get the belts back.
Yeah, lots of scenarios there. I think all of them are pretty good from a matchup perspective.
Yeah.
This holiday season, Peloton's got a gift for you. Right now, get up to $200 off accessories with the purchase of a Peloton Shred. Accessories like non-slip grip resistance bands, a heart rate monitor, yoga blocks, and more. Take your workout to the next level with Peloton. Motivation that moves you. Hurry, this limited time offer ends December 25th. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more. All access membership separate. Offer ends December 25th. Cannot be combined with other offers. See additional terms at onepeloton.com.
It's finally here. The Macy's Friends and Family Sale with an extra 30% off gifts they'll love. Get an extra 25% off dressed up designer looks for kids from Calvin Klein and more. Plus an extra 25% off Samsonite and Delsey luggage. With great prices from top designers, Macy's has all the best deals you won't want to miss this week. And don't forget to sign up for a Macy's card or use a coupon to get 15% off beauty products they'll love this season. Visit Macys.com to find great holiday deals today.
Well, now let's take a look at the Super Junior Tag League. We only had 2 nights of action here from the juniors, night 9 and night 11. So starting at the top of the block, we have the Bullet Club tag team of Ace Austin and Chris Bay from Impact Wrestling. They are leading the block with 12 points, 6 wins, and 1 loss. On night 9, they defeated the Flying Tiger team of Robbie Eagles and Tiger Mask, 9 minutes and 28 seconds. And then on night 11, they defeated the Jet, Kevin Knight, and Kushida, 10 minutes and 16 seconds.
Man, Bullet Club, they're killing it. Mm-hmm. Chris Bay is so good. Ace Austin, still super over, still very good. These guys are deserve to be on top because they are super, super crisp and putting out bangers night after night. The match against Leo Rush and Yo was awesome. Mm-hmm. Leo and Chris Bay are lightning in the ring. Like, they are absolute lightning. The match for Flying Tiger, highly recommend it. That's a cherry picker for sure. And the match against Kushida and Kevin Knight, total banger. Chris Bay hit Kevin Knight with this cutter.
On the apron.
Oh my, gruesome.
Killed that man.
Yeah. So really, really impressed with the effort, man. They are absolutely killing it. Really, really like this team. And I hope to see them more in this junior tag league because, super interesting. I think the junior tag league is very, very interesting. I think it was Robbie Eagles saying there's only one team. Like Flying Tiger is the only team that was in last year's Super Junior Tag League.
Yeah, we got a bunch of fresh teams this year that have been fun to watch. I mean, the Junior Tag League has been more fun to watch, I would say, than the Heavyweight World Tag League.
Agree.
Yeah, and Ace Austin, Chris Bay, like you mentioned, looking great, and just high speed, innovative stuff. Yeah, that cutter to Knight on night 11. Yeah, that was just insane. And Chris Bay and Kevin Knight mixing it up in there was pretty cool. And so these guys have just been a ton of fun to watch, ton of charisma, ton of energy. Crowd, even though their Bull Club is getting behind them, we haven't seen too much shenanigans from them. Of course, Ace Austin's still doing the card trick thing, pulling the card out and giving the paper cut when he has the Fujiwara armbar on. But besides that, they've pretty much played it straight for the most part and have been a really fun team to watch. Yeah, Robbie Eagles, Ace Austin had some super, super crisp exchanges, some slick counters and evasions. Tiger Mask hit Bay with like an avalanche butterflies suplex or something. It was totally sick. The Tiger driver that Tiger did to Chris Bay was pretty sick too. Yeah, he totally almost lost his strength for a second there and just crumpled him on the top of his back. Yeah, very brutal. But that's those two matches, their last two. Even the Leo and Yo match, highly recommend. If you're cherry picking, watch the Bullet Club matches because they're putting in the work. Yeah, and I love their finishing combo or Ace throws Chris Bay into the cutter, the art of finesse, and then he falls up with the fold. And it's been a lot of fun. So next team up here, we have the IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions, TJP and Francisco Akira. They're coming in here with 10 points, 5 wins, and 2 losses. On night 9, they defeated the Wild Hips team of Clark Connors and Taguchi. And then on night 11, they ate their second loss to Doki and Yoshinobu Kanemaru.
These guys are amazing.
Yes.
The junior champs are so good. I could see them carrying these belts for a super long time, unless, TJP's got a little one at home, so maybe they're due. They're due to drop the titles, but that frees up Akira for some singles work. But TJP is absolutely unreal. I know you got to do the disclaimer before you compliment TJP. So all disclaimers in place. But TJP is unbelievable. He's so good. And Akira's looking like a future champ. His work is super crisp. I'm seeing some of the stuff that I'm seeing, like some of the partnerships are really like dad and young boy, or like veteran and young guy. And I think of all of those, like dad, young boy, not young boy in the literal sense, but like the younger wrestler.
Right.
This one is the most successful. And I think Akira is going to learn a ton from TJP about the in-betweens, the little things that make you elite. I think Kevin Kelly said one night that TJP was helping Akira edit himself a little bit, which you got to listen to him. The guy is awesome. They've had nothing but bangers. The match against Wild Hips was okay. I think did TJP do that abdominal stretch, like Indian Deathlock double submission?
Mm-hmm.
That looked super cool. But yeah, just putting in work, delivering great matches. Yeah, awesome team.
Yeah, I love this team. They're one of my favorite junior tag teams going right now. And yeah, like you mentioned, I already feel like Akira has already learned so much from TJP. If you watch from Best Super Juniors to now, you can just see, I feel like Akira's put on some muscle, and I feel like, yeah, he's learned a lot from TJP, and just some placement of stuff and just some little things that TJP is so great at. And like you said, the disclaimer, I know TJP says a lot of stupid things, but man, this guy is so crisp and so smooth in the ring, and he just does stuff and you're like, man, like how did he do that? Like how did he think to be at that spot at that timing? And like their timing is just so good. Also, I love their double team senton thing where Kira goes on top of the shoulders, like take a picture and does a senton. That's great. And yeah, their double team stuff is just so good. And of course, like we mentioned, they got Gideon Gray to, introducing them as well. And so it's just everything about the Catch 2-2 package, has just been great. And like you mentioned, night 9 was against Wild Hips, and we'll talk about them. I mean, it was good for the whole shenanigans show of, Connors and Taguchi. But yeah, the Doki, Kanemaru match was awesome, and we'll talk about those guys a little bit later, but that's definitely cherry pick worthy, and such an awesome moment there for Doki to get the win on those guys. For
all the Doki supporters, the longtime Doki supporters, Keepin It Strong Style has been
yes.
pumping Doki. I've been on the Doki train as well. I will say I'm a longtime Doki supporter. I like anybody that comes up from the mud. If you're fighting barefoot in mud pits doing lucha, calling these guys lucha hipsters and stuff, fake luchadors, I love it. And or I think we're getting into Suzuki-gun a little bit, but I'll save it.
Okay.
Catch 2-2, Suzuki-gun, highly recommended for sure.
Yeah, and of course you also have the Catch 2-2 chant, the Catch 2-2, Catch 2-2. Like they're just getting super over, and I love it.
Yeah, it's a weird name for a tag team. I figured they could do a little bit better. It takes a little work to get there, but yeah, it works with the claps, it works with the Kira. So they don't have to do much to get the crowd going. So yeah. It works for me. Isn't my favorite tag team name, but it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of grown on me for now. I mean, at this point, but yeah, they're so awesome. Like, whatever, we'll go with it. So let's talk about another awesome team here. Alex Zane and L. Lindemann, the Sauce Hearts, also with 10 points. So they're tied with TJP and Akira. 5 wins and 2 losses. On night 9, the Sauce Hearts, they defeated Bushi and Teton, 9 minutes and 28 seconds. And then on night 11, they lost to the Chaos team of Leo Rush and Yo, 12 minutes and 21 seconds.
Yeah, the whitest of white meat baby faces right here.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, even when Lindo is playing heel or playing Rudo, it's hard to get into him. Like he's just got this like demeanor about him where he just looks happy doing his work in that ring. Alex Zane continues to do all of the right things to like ingratiate himself with the crowds. The guy's got hollow bones. What can I say? It's how he hits the 100 kilos, right? His style is very junior-ish. It brings a ton of pace. But other than the fact that he's like 6'3" and like totally jacked, I think his style is very junior-esque, and I don't have a problem with him being there. Like I was accepting of Shingo Takagi as a junior. So I think Zane is a great add to the division. This team is totally awesome. El Lindemann is a super special wrestler. Like he's super special. Like that guy's awesome. The match with Flying Tiger was totally sick. The Tiger Driver on Alex Zane, he got totally crumpled on that. The match versus Bushi and Teton was pretty good. The German suplex pinning combo that they do, love it. And my God, what have they done to Yo?
They fired Yo up. I don't know what that was about. Like I was like, I watched the whole match and
Is this real? Yeah, is this a shoot? This is what I thought.
And then after the match, Yo and Lindemann are like kind of going at it a little bit, getting in each other's faces and pushing each other. Which I mean, that's kind of a normal thing sometimes in New Japan. You kind of see that heat there, but I mean, they're both face teams, and I didn't really see anything in the match. But yeah, they were kind of going at each other at the end there, and like Zane was holding Lindemann back, and Leo was holding Yo back. Yeah. I'm very surprised to see that from Yo, and thank God, like give me more. I will go onto YouTube. I will watch Lindemann Yo for the Glade Championship. I'm there. Let me know, because I'm invested in this beef now. Yeah, definitely. I gotta do some digging to see if there's some more behind that. But yeah, on paper, Lindemann and Zane doesn't really make sense as a team, but like you said, they've gelled together so well. And Lindemann, he dyed his hair red. He's got the red and blue text on his trunks, and so they look like a team. They're acting like a team, and they've been fun and great to watch. And another team where it's like, if you were cherry picking, like their matches are usually not more than 10 to 12 minutes, super high pace, high energy stuff, and so yeah, they're a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah, Lindemann's he throws a bunch. He does a ton of throws, ton of suplexes, very Taz-esque, and like the wrestling style is like the short shorts he's in, and just tossing people left and right. I really like Lindemann. He's a capital G guy for me.
Yeah. So next up we got Bushi and Teton, who are also at 10 points with 5 wins and 2 losses. Also, we mentioned on night 9, they lost to Sauce Hearts. And then on night 11, they defeated Dick Togo and Show.
Yeah, swag gods.
Yes, the masks of both these guys are fresh all time.
Teton and Bushi have the hardest mask games in the history of pro wrestling. Like, Teton is full glam, super icy, super shiny.
Mm-hmm.
Those IWGP tag team belts are going to look real nice around those glittery outfits that that Teton and Bushi like to come out in. Yeah, the mask game is elite, and so is Teton. Teton has been doing the real heavy lifting with this team. Bushi has not taken his t-shirt off, to my knowledge. He hasn't even bothered to choke people. So Teton is doing the real heavy lifting. Unbelievable. That guy is he's a future champ in my opinion. Could be like a Dragon Lee-esque type of run for Teton.
Yeah, I feel like with Dragon Lee being gone, that definitely opened the door for Teton to kind of come in and kind of, essentially be slotted where a Dragon Lee would be slotted. His tornado DDT is so crisp, so fast. There's a GIF going on from which match was it? I think from the House of Torture match against Show when he did the tornado DDT, and just so fast, so crisp. I'm like, this guy is just incredible. And in previous years he's kind of been just kind of like a mid guy in the Super Juniors. Like he would have good matches, but he wasn't really that standout guy. And I don't know what it is, but like he's upped his game. He's like super quick, the high flying. I love their double team to do the code breaker into the double stomp. He does his crazy like Asai moonsaults to the outside. Like everything about him is just awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And let me just say one thing about Bushi. Bushi is super over. Mm-hmm. He came out, I think it was the Nagoya show. Like Bushi's getting a Road Warrior pop.
Yeah.
Like other than Naito, Bushi was the most over guy. It was like Naito, Bushi, and Gideon Gray. Like people are into Bushi. And like I liked Bushi like even when I first started getting into LIJ. So he's like sort of like I got a soft spot for him, even though he's not super great. But Teton is awesome. I think like him and Bushi, it's that sort of like, Teton's a vet for sure, but like Bushi is that long-standing guy who's been there, who's sort of like the elder figure in that tag team. Mm-hmm. And they're just letting the young guys show out. And Teton is so good. This team is awesome, and they're gonna have the belts. If they don't win this tournament, they beat Catch 22. I think they're gonna have the belts next year for sure.
Yeah, and that big win over Catch 22 will definitely, if they don't win the tournament, can still get them a shot at the Dome. They could do a 3-way or 4-way depending how this thing ends up. And yeah, they're definitely going to be IWGP Junior Tag Champs at some point next year.
Yeah, swag gods.
Up next, another team with 10 points, Lio Rush and Yo. So on night 9, they lost to Dick Togo and Show in 18 seconds. And then on night 11, like we mentioned, they defeated the Sauce Hearts 12 minutes and 21 seconds.
Yeah, that Sauce Hearts match, also one of the top matches of my tournament for sure in the Super Juniors. At first I thought like Yo and Lio Rush is like a weird pairing because like Yo is a hoe, right? And like Leo, we all know what he's capable of, and he's absolutely put it on this tournament. He has been tournament MVP. Like he is crazy, man. Like the evasion stuff that he does, like that's very sick to me. Like I love seeing that kind of stuff. And like he's like rubbing off on Yo a little bit. Like, yeah. Like he's bringing up the fire a little bit. Like he's like, come on, man, we have similar. They're pushing like, oh, they have similar interests, and like they both like music and they both like art and stuff. It's like, do they both like fighting hard in the ring and like winning championships? Because that's what I want to know. And Lio Rush is showing that for me for sure.
Yeah, again, another team, when you look on paper and you're like, Lio Rush and Yo, like, what kind of team is that? But I don't know what it is, but they have been motivating each other. This is the best Yo has looked in a very long time. Lio Rush is super motivated. I mean, he is one of like the best high flyers and high pace wrestlers in the world. It's just that, he's had a string of injuries. He's had some mental health issues. Like, there's just been things just not going his way. But when he's healthy and motivated and in the right headspace, he's one of the best high flyers, high-paced wrestlers in the world. And we're seeing that here in this tournament. He's super motivated. Him and Yo have gelled together really well. They have a lot of really cool double team maneuvers. They're also using the 3K, the old Roppongi 3K finisher, and like you mentioned, the high space, high evasive kind of stuff that Leo does is just incredible to watch.
Yeah, and Leo is chaos for life.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's been saying it. He's been repping chaos. He's been saying, when they face off against Bullet Club, Bullet Club for life, and Leo's like, no, chaos for life. It's like,
yeah, he threw the 3 in his face.
Yeah, the 3K is like, bro, you've been part of chaos for like 2 weeks now.
Oh, he's ready to ride though, man.
He's ride or die. Like, I wonder if Okada even knows like Leo is in chaos.
Well, I was gonna say like is Leo Rush? Didn't he say he was money-tistic? Is that the guy who said he was money-tistic?
Yeah.
So Leo Rush definitely was sitting in Okada's Lambo, getting contracts signed, playing his demo for him. That's how he made it into chaos. That's how he was approved.
Yeah, he's like, this guy's a rainmaker. I'm money-tistic. This is the faction for me.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to now that he's in chaos. I want to hear a track with him and Rocky Romero.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
produced by Rich Latta. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm sure we can actually probably somehow get that to work.
Get it cooking.
But yeah, these guys have been super fun to watch. I'm not a huge fan of Leo's nickname right now, the Bad Child. I prefer just like the Man of the Hour, but whatever. Besides that, I mean, yeah, super fun tag team. The House of Torture match, also a disappointment there with getting jumped before the bell, and Sho was able to hit the shock arrow on Yo real quick and to get the win there. But the chaos, the Sauce Horse match, like we mentioned, was a lot of fun. Got to figure out what the beef is between Yo and Lindemann. But yeah, I'm liking this team of Leo and Yo.
You're gonna have to reach out to Karen Peterson to get the details on what is firing up Yo.
Yeah,
she must be so happy right now.
Yeah, like Yo is blossoming and shining right now. So yeah, I'm sure she's having a good time watching Yo in the tournament.
With respect to like the House of Torture match, there's always a bit of anticipation for a Yo and Sho confrontation, and then you get this totally unsatisfying like ending or result. Just like their whole feud was totally unsatisfying. And they did it again. They, maybe it was a timing thing, but like I don't know.
Yeah, I
wish we had something a little bit more satisfying between those two.
Yeah, I think Yo and Sho's breakup and feud has to be like one of the worst like partner breakup feuds ever. Like no chemistry, no heat, no good matches. Like it just always falls flat. Like you said, like you expect it to be like fireworks, and because they've teamed together for so long, in Roppongi 3K and even as the Tempora Boys when they were on Excursion and Ring of Honor, like they've teamed together for so long, you would think at this point, like, all right, they know each other in and out. They're going to have great chemistry. They're going to have all these great matches. And I don't know if it's because Sho is way down with the House of Torture gimmick or what the deal is. But yeah, anytime they step in the ring, it has not been enjoyable. So it is what it is. It was only 18 seconds, so can't complain. Complain too much. But overall, yeah, Yo has been looking so much better teaming here with Leo Rush. So now let's move on here. So we got a team here of Wild Hips, Ryusuke Taguchi, and the Wild Rhino, Clark Connors. They're sitting at 6 points with 3 wins and 4 losses. So they got 2 matches left, which if they win the last 2 matches, that'll get them to a max of 10, which again, very similar to the Tag League situation. They would need to hope for some kind of crazy 6-way tie, but I mean, they've lost a lot so far, so they probably wouldn't have a lot of tiebreakers. So at this point, we can pretty much say that they are mathematically eliminated from the tournament. Night 9, they lost to the champs, Catch 2-2. And then on night 11, they were able to get a win over the former champs, Flying Tiger.
Yeah, of the dad and the young guy sort of mentorship relationship, this is the one that is probably failing. I don't know how much good this is doing Clark by tagging with Taguchi. Like, unfortunately, Clark is awesome at comedy wrestling.
Yeah.
He's so good at it, but he's also a beast. He's a super intense, powerful guy. I don't think it's a secret. Like, he was always compared to like a young Chris Benoit, and like Wild Rhino is an obvious allusion to Wild Pegasus. So when you see him doing like the I think it puts him in a weird spot post tag league. That's why I would love to see him back with the boys in the LA dojo and doing because he's been absolutely nailing people with the pounds.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think he calls his version the Jeep flip. Yeah, he's been killing people in this tournament. Like, they've been like, it's been like Monty Brown style. Like, they're flying in the air. Yeah.
I think the match between United Empire was pretty good. They had that the double rope running
spot. Yeah,
that would pop me. Like, I thought that was pretty funny, and you got to see the most electrifying move in sports entertainment, which was Taguchi doing like the people's butt. So the goofiness in that match sort of worked for me. The goofiness in the Flying Tiger match did not. So that one definitely fell short for me.
Yeah.
Too long, lots of butt stuff. Like, Taguchi had a rip in his red underwear. Like, it's just gross.
Yeah, it was too much. And it was like one of those matches, like, I was watching it on my phone. Like, my wife was watching like something on the TV, and she happened to look over, and it was a spot where like they had like Clark was like butt was in Taguchi's, or yeah, Clark's face was in Taguchi's butt, and like she's like, what are you watching? What is going on in that match? Like, what is happening? I'm like, just turn away. Like, just you're not ready for Taguchi.
Yeah, poor Tiger Mask.
Yeah,
having to deal with Taguchi's butt.
Yeah, Tiger, he was definitely grumpy in this match. He's like, no, like, I don't want to deal with all the shenanigans. And
he didn't want to drink beer at the beginning of the match. He was like, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm not drinking beer.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not down with the beer, the red underwear, you trying to stick your butt in my face. Like, Tiger Mask was not having any of it. But unfortunately, like, he ended up with a face full of Taguchi's red underwear in his face. But yeah, I agree with you. This Wild Hips team, I mean, they have been entertaining at times, but I don't like what it's doing to Clark Connors, and I just hope it's not one of those situations where, a lot of times you hear in WWE, like, Vince used to see somebody do comedy, like Moxley did a comedy, he's like, oh, I can make him do comedy every week. So I'm hoping it's not one of those things where Gato sees Clark doing all this comedy, like, oh, he's really good at this, let me keep him doing comedy forever. It's like, no, like, this guy is like a killer. Like, he needs to be up there, like you mentioned, with Coughlin and Kid, like, just chopping the crap out of people, not drinking beer and pulling his trunks down and doing all this funny ha-ha with Taguchi.
Well, his Outback gear is not doing him any favors. As a guy who appreciates like nice gear, like Teton and Bushi, like the Outback man, Survivor man gimmick he's got going on there. Like, you could be a cooler Rhino. That's all I'm saying. Like, he could be like a little bit more silver, maybe ditch the hat. I don't know. Maybe not. Don't take it so literally. Just have some fly gear.
Yeah.
Come and goon people and just be like, yeah, I'm a Rhino because I smash things.
Right. Be more like ECW Rhino and not like
right.
Not like, Discovery Channel, watching a Rhino person or whatever. Oh man. So let's talk about Flying Tiger, Robbie Eagles, and Tiger Mask, the former IWGP Junior Tag Team champs. Like you mentioned, the only team to come back from last year's tournament. They're only sitting at 4 points right now, with 2 wins and 5 losses. They got 2 matches left, so the best they could do is 8 points. So they are mathematically eliminated. On night 9, like we mentioned, they lost to Ace Austin and Chris Bay. And night 11, like we mentioned, they lost to Wild Hips.
Yeah, Flying Tigers are appointment viewing for the most part. Like, these are guys you don't want to skip their matches because they've been excellent the whole tournament. Tiger Mask is putting in work. He's awesome still. And Robbie's Robbie, man. He's a former champ and he's looking all the part. Tiger Mask, man, like, he's one of those guys. The older you get, the better he figures it out. And he's still killing it. And like, I can see this team having the belts again, and doing a great job with them, because a lot of their matches, the match versus Bullet Club, super good. Their match versus Saucehearts, super good as well. Like, they are putting out bangers, particularly that match with the Bullet Club.
Yeah, these guys have been super fun to watch, and they were the team last year where it's like you see Robbie Eagles and Tiger Mask, and you're like, okay, well, why are they together? But again, they gel really well. They won the belts last year, and they've always been a fun team to watch. A little surprising that they're this low on the totem pole right now. I know normally Tiger Mask is a quote-unquote New Japan dad and does lose a lot, but still, they're former Junior Tag Champs, only team to come back from last year. You'd think that they would be positioned in that kind of where the, like LIJ's at, or Sauce Hearts, kind of in that 10-point mix there, being alive going into the last 2 nights here. But they're here at the bottom of the block here. But just because they're points are low doesn't mean they haven't been fun to watch. Like you mentioned, they've been having a lot of really fun matchups. And yeah, out of these 2, the Bullet Club match against Ace Austin and Chris Bay was a lot of fun, really high-paced stuff there. And, Tiger Mask, he's in full grumpy mode on this tour, killing people with the Tiger Driver, stiff kicks and chops. He's just not having any of it.
Yeah, love it. I love me some grumpy Tiger Mask.
Yeah. So up next, also with 4 points, we have Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Doki. On night 9, they defeated Kevin Knight and Kushida. And then on night 11, like we mentioned earlier, they defeated the champs, Catch 2-2, Francisco Akira and TJP, in the main event of night 11, 18 minutes and 40 seconds. A couple questions here about Doki. Ocock890 says, do you think Doki winning a main event and pinning a champion could actually mean a gradual push for Doki, like at least overtaking Kanemaru on the Suzuki-gun hierarchy level push? And Strong Style Demon says, so what you gonna do, brother, when Doki Mania runs wild over you? A simple question. Is this the start of the Doki era?
Simple answer. Hondo P.
Yes.
This is Doki's time.
Yes.
This is Doki's time. That man cut a promo in 2 languages.
Yes.
After spiking Akira on his head. Doki is the star. Like, he's been hitting that daybreak flawlessly every night. That move is devastating. His little splits where he gets out of the way and sends people like through the ropes. Yeah, it is Doki's time. It's been Doki's time.
Yes, it's time. It's time. It's Doki time.
Yeah, and Doki's over too. Like, he's over with the crowds. They were loving it when he was you have cool tag team moves, but you're not as cool as us.
Yeah. After their second win, they're like, we are a real tag team. This is what a real tag team looks like.
Yeah, I love it. And he had great chemistry with Kushida. In that match with Kevin Knight and Kushida, I thought he looked really good. And that Catch 22 match, definitely check it out to see Doki spike Akira on his dome. Awesome match. And then the post match is even better. Like, you feel really happy. Like, if you've been invested in Doki, like, these are the moments in his like character arc that you'll really appreciate and you'll really get into, because they're super rewarding if you've been if you've been down with Doki since the mud.
Yeah, and it's like you mentioned, it's kind of similar to the Hanma, where he's kind of like this plucky underdog. The fans are super behind him. You want to see him win. And yeah, so Doki Mania is running wild. He pinned a former champion, or excuse me, the current champion. So I mean, even though they might not win this tournament, they have a claim now to a title shot against Catch 2-2. So yeah, hopefully they get that. Hopefully they'll weasel their way into the Tokyo Dome match. But yeah, Doki and Kanemaru, solid team, on fire. Yeah, the match against Catch 2-2 is definitely must watch stuff.
Yeah, and with I think we've been talking about Doki all the time because he's been the young guy that they're sort of trying to highlight, right? Mm-hmm. But again, Kanemaru, a lot like Kushida, man, just going out there, knows where to be. Super crisp all the time. Kanemaru's not botching anything. Like he's super good. Super knows how to call things properly. Really think the world of Kanemaru as well. And I think it is time for Doki to rise.
Yes, I'm all for it. Doki 2023. Let's go. Strap him up. All right, let's take a look at the last two teams here. Both these teams have 2 points, 1 win, 6 losses. So first, the team of Kushida and the Jet, Kevin Knight. Night 9, they lost to Doki and Kanemaru. And night 11, they lost to the Bullet Club team of Ace Austin and Chris Bay.
Yeah, Kevin Knight show, right? This is it was his big coming out party. I hope I think Ethan said this last week, but like he hopes Kushida and Kevin Knight stay together for a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think so too, because Kushida does an amazing job of letting Kevin Knight shine. Even to how they designed the finisher, like Kevin Knight's vertical leap is on another level. Love to see it. I think he's coming into his own. The 2-fly stuff, a little swaggy movements he's got. Totally into it. I buy it. I think he's probably got some work to do on the mic a little bit.
Yeah.
But athletically, the way that he moves and he's not just a jumper. He can really mix it up on the mat too. I think sky's the limit for Kevin. I know everybody's been saying that, but for me, I almost didn't buy it the first couple of matches I watched him, but now he's definitely settling into being the Jet.
Yeah.
And he's ready to take flight, baby.
Yeah, I mean, he has been awesome. I think probably maybe the first young lion to graduate mid-tour in Japan. So yeah, graduating, getting the orange get up there. Like you said, full of charisma. Yeah, him doing the whole 2-fly taunt. Of course, the big drop kicks. He's been doing a lot of kind of lucha spots, a lot of lucha flips and dives.
Yeah,
he's been awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Maybe he's the spiritual successor to Cold Scorpio.
Maybe, yeah. But him and Kushida are a really fun team. I think that would be a cool team to have going forward in Japan and on Strong, challenge for those Strong openweight tag team title. I think teaming up him with Kushida it's definitely going to benefit Kevin Knight, similar to we were talking about through a lot of these teams with that kind of dad-younger comparison, kind of similar to Akira and TJP, where Akira has learned a lot from TJP. I think Kevin Knight will learn a lot from Kushida and really tighten his game up. So.
Yeah, and he's done some super impressive things and looked great. He almost drop kicked over top of Kanemaru at one point.
Yeah.
So and then he took that brutal cutter from Chris Bay, which was totally sick. So some couple of highlights. Even when guys are getting hurt big time, I think those are you put it on your highlight reel too, right? Because that's gotta be able to sell and take the bumps, right?
Yeah, I think they're still scraping him up from the apron from that cutter. Yeah, that was dope. So then the other team here with 2 points is the House of Torture team of Sho and Dick Togo. On night 9, they got their first win by beating Leo Rush and Yo in 18 seconds, like we mentioned earlier. And then on night 11, they lost to Bushi and Teton.
If I have one positive thing to say about House of Torture, Sho and Dick Togo, it's that Sho seems to be settling into whatever character he is portraying in this. Like, I prefer his like maniacal laugh to the weird faces that he was making before. And like, to be honest, I think like that character fits the idea of House of Torture better than anyone else. Like, Togo and Yujiro have not adapted their styles or their characters whatsoever. They just have a different T-shirt on. There's no change in how they're presenting themselves. So it does the whole stable like a disservice when like Sho like went through like this. Okay, I'm going to change my whole persona, and like I'm in the House of Torture. Like, what does a persona that would be in a team that is like this? What would it be like? But then you got all the other guys like Evil. Okay, Evil, yeah. Torture, I get it. Like, there's like at least a connection, but like Yujiro and Dick Togo are they're the same guys whether they are in Bullet Club or whether they're in House of Torture. There's no difference, and I think that's a huge disservice to House of Torture. But other than that, like House of Torture is brutal. Again, they don't do even tag team maneuvers. Like, this is what is most frustrating, because I think even with the juniors, you could do like cheating double team maneuvers, like where a guy like picks the foot and like does some stuff where you can make it with that junior pace. And I think that would be interesting. That's something that's been sort of underutilized by House of Torture, where they just jump to the 4-on-1 or the 4-on-2 beatdowns. Like, and I just find it hilarious that in the match against LIJ, all of House of Torture got punked by Bushi.
Yeah.
Bushi beat them all up. Like total jabronis, man. Like that must suck. It really must suck for them.
Yeah, and it's just like we were talking about last week, and the same thing with Evil and Yujiro. Like, these guys, like, they're just getting foiled every night. Like, their plans are not working. The only plan they got to work was for the Leo Rush and Yo thing. Besides that, yeah, they're getting punked out by teams. They're losing all time. Like, the interference is not working. Even when Evil and Yujiro run in with the pimp cane and try to distract stuff, like, everybody pretty much has had their number and has been able to, outmaneuver them. And yeah, and it's been fun. I mean, again, I'm glad they're losing. I'm glad they're not, in contention to win this tournament. So yeah, with 2 points and 2 matches left, yeah, the best they can do is get to 6 points. So they're mathematically eliminated. They're going to try and play spoiler for these last 2 nights here. But yeah, it's just been House of Torture stuff, but they've been losing. So
yeah, and so at least they're delivering what the people want, right?
Yes.
You get to boo, and then you get that satisfying, these dumb idiots cheating are getting their comeuppance. And it's been a long time coming, because like, I don't know for how long everyone's been howling about how bad the shenanigans are, and they are. I just wish they'd be creative with it. Like, it's just not creative stuff.
Or even just kind of do some cool stuff in between the cheating. It's like,
correct.
We've seen heels in New Japan who've done that. Jay White does it.
Kanemaru. Kanemaru is probably like the perfect guy who is like, I remember it was maybe a couple of Super Juniors ago, but like Kanemaru was like coming up with a new way of cheating each match,
yeah.
Which is, that is cool. Like, that's like, this guy's the smartest guy. He's like master heel, right? That's his name.
Yeah, the heel master. Yeah, and of course he has that sweet tilt-a-roll DDT and the deep impact DDT from the top. So he does some cool stuff in between the cheating, and I feel like especially Sho like should be doing, like, we saw when Sho was in Chaos and Roppongi 3K. The stuff against Ishii and Shingo and the never open stuff that he was doing. It's like, we know this guy. That's the most frustrating thing. We know this guy is capable of doing great stuff, having great matches, but he's stuck doing this stuff.
people were asking the question, what is Show's ceiling? And they're like, well, I don't know, IWGP champion? Like, maybe he's so good and he's totally jacked. And like now, if you ask people, what is Show's ceiling? It's like, I don't know. Like, not even never, like never trios. Like that's his ceiling right now. And before we were like, this guy could be the face of the company because he is so good, so dynamic in different styles of wrestling, where he's like, so he has a ton of submissions, could like do big power moves, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, super disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, we called him the Show Michaels. Like, he was supposed to be the breakout star from the team and have this great singles run, but yeah, just not happening.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at the last two nights of Junior Tag League. So night 13 will be December 7th, and then night 15 of the tour will be December 10th. So on December 7th, night 13, we'll have Kevin Knight Kushida against Catch 2-2. Knight and Kushida will be looking to play spoiler there. And we have Wild Hips, who will be looking to play spoiler against Leo Rush and Yo. Doki and Kanemaru will be facing off against Dick Togo and Sho. Then we have Flying Tiger looking to play spoiler against Bushi and Teton. And then we'll have Sauce Hearts against Bullet Club, which will definitely be a big match considering both those teams are sitting at 10 points right now.
Yeah, lots of good matches. That Sauce Hearts Bullet Club match is going to be a total banger. Flying Tiger, Los Ingo, love it. And Kevin and Kushida, Catch 22. That's going to be good too. I can see if we're not putting Catch 22 in the finals, I can see Kushida and Kevin Knight getting a dub there.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a huge upset, and again, that would leave the door open for them to potentially get a shot at the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles, and might even squeak in at the Tokyo Dome. So then night 15, we got Kevin Knight and Kushida against Flying Tiger. We'll have Leo Rush and Yo against Bushi and Teton. So currently both those teams are at 10, so that'll be an important matchup. We have the champs, Catch 2-2 against Ace Austin and Chris Bay, another big important matchup there. Then Wild Hips against House of Torture. Then the main event of night 15 will be Sauce Hearts against Doki and Kanemaru, which has me thinking that Doki and Kanemaru will play spoiler again and will spoil Sauce Hearts and keep them out of the finals.
Yeah, that's a sick card. Those are great matchups to end the tournament on.
Yeah, I think we're in for I'm going to predict Bullet Club against Leo Rush and Yo in the finals.
Yep, that makes sense to me. Although, I would love to see Sauce Hearts in the final against Bullet Club, but Leo Rush and Yo also very, very deserving, and they've been showing that they can put in the work and deliver a match worthy of the bright lights, super Junior Tag League finals.
Yeah. Let's see a few questions here. Senor Sombrero 3K says, as someone who doesn't have time to watch every single show of the Tag League Tour, what are the main matches I should go out of my way to watch? Keep up the great content and doing the hard work for us all during Tag League season. So Senor Sombrero, I think during the review we kind of pointed out the matches to go ahead and watch. So hopefully that answered your question there for you. And I think we did the same thing last week too, kind of pointed out the matches as we were going through each team. Also, you can check, I have my ratings on the Grapple app too, so if you want to see star ratings for stuff. But yeah, I think we kind of pointed out the stuff you need to watch. Less Commission 7252 says, what teams from each league would you guys like to see get the tag title shots at the start of next year? I like to see TMTK stay for a heavyweight tag team title shot, and Yo and Leo fight for the junior tag belts.
Yeah, Less Commission. That's those are good options. I like TMDK. I said I think they're a great, compelling team to keep in the division. I would like to see Hanare and Cobb as a tag team.
Wow.
I said that before. So I think with Aussie Open, TNDK, you got another connection between United Empire in there somewhere. Bishamon. You got a pretty decent division there, and you bring over some folks from different promotions, and I think you got the makings of a fairly decent division.
Right. We know historically New Japan's not been like the tag team promotion, and especially during the early years of this show, you pretty much had 3 teams in each division kind of round robining with the belts, and both of these leagues give a lot of hope and shine for the future of both divisions. I mean, both leagues have a ton of great teams that I would love to see stick around. From the junior side of things, keeping Leo Rush and Yo around, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Sauce Hearts,
Flying Tiger.
Yeah, Flying Tiger, Kushida and Kevin Knight. Like, there's so much great stuff where you can intermix and you don't have to have the belts just going between 2 or 3 teams. Like, there's a good amount of teams here that you can have in division. Then like World Tag League, having Gabe, Kidd, and Coughlin together, having TMDK, having Okan, Hanare, Bishamon, Aussie Open. Like, there's so many great teams now in both divisions. So I'd love to see a lot of those top teams return and be a part of 2023.
Yeah, and even Jonah and Bad Dude Tito, TMDK, I think that's another good team that you could possibly have in there.
Yeah, and you got West Coast Wrecking Crew on Strong that's in the waitings. You got Stray Dog Army, Motor City Machine Guns, who are the current Strong Openweight tag team champion. So even stateside, there are still also a lot of good teams that didn't get their way into the tournament this year. That could be a lot of fun for tag divisions. Then Rambone Slam Pig has 2 questions for us. First says, have any teams exceeded your expectations in terms of in-ring performance, and have any fallen short?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
So I would say that a team that's fallen short, but they've been good, but I sort of maybe expect more from them, has been Bishamon. I'd say they may have underperformed a little bit for me. So I would say on the underperformance side, those guys. Who surprised me, I would say Tana and Yano. Not from because my expectations were set so low that I was actually pleasantly surprised that Yano wasn't digging tape out of his trunks and doing countout spots, right? So I think that was good. Naito and Sonata underperformed, I would say on the junior side, man, a lot of people overperformed. I'd say Teton and Bushi better than I expected for sure. Bullet Club way better than I expected. Actually, I expected them to be good, but to be how good they've been all tournament has been very refreshing. Underperformers, Wild Hips, 100%. Like
yeah,
just nothing much to glom onto there, other than some disappointment and bad feelings for Clark.
Yeah, for me, for the World Tag League, I would say people who've fallen short, I would definitely say, Naito and Sonata would be the number one for me of falling short. You just expect a little bit more from those guys. Then the team that exceeded my expectation in World Tag League, I would probably say Okan and Hanare, just because they're not the normal team. It's usually Okan and Cobb, and I feel like Hanare has done a great job there, stepping up and teaming with great Okan. Then on the junior side of things, team falling short. I would say, I agree with you. I'd probably say, Wild Hips. I think from a kayfabe perspective, obviously Flying Tiger has done a little bit lower than I expected, but still been having good in-ring stuff. And then the team over-delivered for me, I'd probably say Leo Rush and Yo. Just again, because you look on paper, it's like, I don't know how that's going to work out, but they have motivated each other. They've been fired up. They've had a ton of great matches, and they're a team I would like to say, stick around. So let's see. All right, so that's it for the question, and that's going to wrap up our coverage for this week's World Tag League Super Junior Tag League shows and previews. So by the time we come back next week, night 15 will be over, and we'll be looking forward to night 17 in the finals and seeing which teams from both leagues will be going on into the finals, and then getting our winners to see who's going to Wrestle Kingdom to challenge FTR and who's going to challenge Catch 22 if they don't end up winning the tournament. So now let's jump over to New Japan of America. We had the first night of the Detonation Tour kickoff on New Japan Strong this past Saturday on NJPW World. Show opened up. We had a Lucha Libre Rules tag match with Adrian Quest and our good friend Rocky Romero defeating Atlantis Jr. and Virus.
Yo, hit the alarm, like banger alert. This match was incredible. Like tons of pace, super fun. I don't think I've ever seen Virus before, but he is awesome. The guy's built like a cannonball, and runs really fast. Atlantis Jr. Looks like a star. He is a big boy as well. This is the first time I've seen Atlantis Jr. I've seen his dad before, and bunch of I've seen the match where he lost his mask and all that kind of stuff. So I've seen him before. So I think he's got all the makings of a star. I haven't seen a bunch of Adrian Quest, but I was super impressed with him as well. And Rocky, amazing as usual, right? Love the pace of this match. This match was awesome.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. RLPW, Rich Ladder Pro Wrestling, these guys flying around. Like I mentioned, it was Lucha Libre tag rules, so these guys were going in and out through the match. Last time I saw Atlantis Jr. would have been the 2019 Fantastica Mania tour, which I think that was his debut, I think maybe, or he was just where he switched over to being Atlantis Jr. So yeah, he's improved a ton since then, put on a lot of size. He's a lot of fun to watch. It's also my first time seeing Virus. But like you said, yeah, just kind of a stocky cannonball kind of guy, the hard hitter. Not doing too many dives. Kind of left that to Atlantis Jr. and he was, bringing in the strikes. But yeah, fun, fast-paced matchup here. Young Fuego, Adrian Quest, he's been a ton of fun to watch. He's a guy I want to see get over to Japan. I think he'd be a lot of fun in the junior division. Fun matchup here. Rocky gets the inside cradle on Virus, and they pick up the win there. Then next we had Homicide defeating Danny Limelight at 11 minutes and 14 seconds. This has kind of been brewing over the last few weeks. We've seen this rivalry between Homicide and Team Filthy. Homicide defeated Filthy Tom Lawler a couple of weeks ago on the New York pay-per-view. There was a 6-man tag against Team Filthy, and so here Dane Limelight was kind of sticking up for Filthy Tom and Team Filthy, and there's also some history between Dane Limelight and Homicide. They were both part of LAX in MLW, so some kind of history there. What do you think about this match?
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good brawl. Homicide was particularly brutal in this match. Lots of biting. I thought the ending sequence was really great. But yeah, a bunch of blunder, a bunch of biting, and we got a surprise guest appearance from our good pal Bobby Fish, who got absolutely roasted by this crowd.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, there was boring chants. Yeah, this crowd, they were not enjoying them some Bobby Fish, but seems like, yeah, he's going to be a normal part of Strong here. He came out, he saved Danny Limelight from getting beat down from Homicide post-match, and he's aligning himself with Team Filthy. He does have history with Filthy Tom Lawler. Filthy Tom has helped train with him and him and Kyle before matches and stuff like that. So there is some connection there. Fish with some MMA background as well. So it looks like he's going to be a part of Team Filthy and has joined in this whole feud against Homicide and Eddie Kingston and guys like that. So I think there's going to be a 6-man match coming up pretty soon with Team Filthy against Homicide, Eddie Kingston, and somebody else. So yeah, we'll stay tuned to that. And then the big main event here, we had Rock Hard Juice Robinson defeating All Heart Blake Christian, 9 minutes 33 seconds, and this came off of the angle last week where Juice defeated Jake Something in post-match. Blake Christian ran out and attacked Juice to get some revenge on Juice costing Blake a match a few weeks ago. So here was a big match, a big grudge matchup here, but Rock Hard ends up getting the win.
Yeah, this was really cool. I haven't seen a ton of Blake Christian, but he was super impressive, very, very aggressive throughout the whole match, doing a bunch of crazy flips. He looked out of control on a couple of them, and 2 of them looked like he might have almost died. There was one he did like an acai moonsault. I think he was trying to do an acai moonsault, but and it was near the end of the match, and I think he like bailed on it and landed on his feet like sort of in front of Juice. I was like, whoa, that could have been dangerous. And there was another one. He did a flip to the outside where it looked like Juice almost missed, like he almost missed Juice and Juice didn't catch him. But like Juice like had sort of like ended up picking him up from the ground. So probably saved him from cracking his head open. But yeah, pretty decent match. Juice just got his butt kicked for the vast majority of the match. So, it was a good match. I feel like, I don't know what's next for Juice, but like, what do you think about Juice as a strong champ? Like, for where he's at, in between everything, like, do you think he could have a run as a strong champ? And is that fitting of his position?
Yeah, I think that would be a good spot for him. I mean, he's a well-known New Japan guy. He's somebody that could help, get that strong brand over and draw and for these arenas they're going to. I just don't know how much longer he's going to be around because it seems like, he's signed with AEW. He challenged Samoa Joe for the ROH TV title for Final Battle this coming up Saturday. So it seems like he's going to start shifting focuses over to AEW and Ring of Honor. So, but if he's going to continue to work strong, I mean, yeah, I think he's a guy that would help the title lineage and just kind of help elevate the title.
Yeah, totally. I agree. It was something that I thought about when I saw him there. It's like, he's been in a weird spot. He's had a lot of stops and starts in his career where it looked like they were going to get behind him, and then, things happen and things change. So, I kind of feel for the guy because I think he's got all the charisma in the world. I don't think he's a bad worker by any stretch. And he's got the, he might not be like the worker of like Kenny Omega caliber, but not many are. But, I think he's far better than average and really a really compelling promo.
Yeah. See, another fun episode of New Japan Strong. So this coming Saturday will be night 2 of the Detonation Tour, so we'll be seeing what's coming up for that. We do know this weekend there will be taping the next set of Strong tapings, the Nemesis Tour, and we do have some matches announced for that. Kita will be taking on Blake Christian. Masca Dorado will be taking on Che Cabrera. We'll have the C4 tag team of Cody Chun and Guillermo Rojas taking on the West Coast Wrecking Crew of Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaac. Mystico will be taking on Mysterioso. Kenta will be taking on QT Marshall. Jeff Cobb will be taking on Bad Dude Tito. And then Alan Angels, formerly of the Dark Order, will be teaming up with Hikuleo to take on Bullet Club's El Phantasmo and Switchblade Jay White. So some interesting matches for that. I know Eddie Kingston's also announced for that tour, as well as Roppongi Vice, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta. So stay tuned to New Japan's Twitter for the final announcements for the Nemesis tour.
Yeah, some good looking matches there. Mysterioso looks really interesting. Kenta, Kenta QT's underrated. Like,
oh yeah,
he's such a goofball, but he's he's good. Like he's really good. Bad Dude Tito, Jeff Cobb, yeah, sign me up. Alan Angels, Hantai? What do you think?
Maybe, yeah. I know in Impact he just joined the Violence by Design group, but yeah, maybe in New Japan he could be Hantai, be a high flyer. Yeah, I think he's a guy I would like to see get a shot in Super Juniors.
Yeah, that'd be a great spot for him.
All right, let's take a look at some news items here. So we got the stipulation set for the final KOPW 2022 match. So in a fan vote held on New Japan social accounts, Shingo Takagi's proposed Lumberjack Last Man Standing match defeated Taichi's 30-minute high score proposal by 52% to 48%. So Shingo will defend that KOPW trophy against Taichi at the next Taka Taichi Produce pay-per-view on Monday, December 19th. That will be on pay-per-view on NJPW World, and the winner will be crowned the official 2022 KOPW champion. So these rules, it's pretty much the old school Texas death match. So you have to pin your opponent, then they have to be down for 10 seconds. And it sounds like with Lumberjacks, so there'll be guys on the outside as well. So
I like Taichi.
Yeah, should be a fun matchup. I'm a big fan of both these guys, Taichi and Shingo. They've had an interesting rivalry this year. So yeah, that should be a fun matchup. We got some news on the Young Bucks. As of right now, according to Dave Meltzer, they are not on the January 4th Tokyo Dome show, even though Kenny Omega is on the show. So as of now, no Young Bucks.
So we don't get Wayward Son.
Yeah. Yeah, no Wayward Son blasting through the Tokyo Dome, even though it'll probably get dubbed over due to international copyrights.
Do you think they second him though?
Maybe. I mean, why not? I mean, they're free that Wednesday, or why not? Yeah, go and be a second, and maybe set up something for New Year's Dash. Maybe, who knows?
I think so. I think that makes sense, and I think that would be great for everybody, because I don't know, it would be nice to see the Young Bucks back in a New Japan ring, even if it's briefly. And to seeing them even second Kenny, they're so good when they second Kenny, right?
Yes.
Almost as good as Brandon Cutler is. So it would be that would be something to see.
Yeah. Then on February 11th, New Beginning in Osaka will be the first major show to allow full cheering and booing. So we've had some in Korakuen Hall and some of the shows on this World Tag League Super Junior Tag League, but this will be the first big event, first major event where we'll have full cheering, a full capacity crowd. So that will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, amazing, a new beginning indeed.
Yes. Then in some excursion news, Tradition had a pay-per-view this past week on December 1st. From Yogi Gym in Tokyo, drawing 2,150 paid for the big dream match of Tatsumi Fujinami, who's 68 years old, who's facing Hiroshi Tanahashi. So the New Japan related stuff on the show, we had Hiromu Takahashi defeating Leona, Jake Lee, Matsukaki Funaki, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeating the LIJ team of Shingo and Naito, who were teamed up with Mitsuyawa Nagai. And then Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Tatsumi Fujinami in the main event. The show is up on NJPW World for pay-per-view. I have not seen it yet, but we'll probably need to check out some of these matches for Excursion Match of the Year consideration.
I saw Zack Sabre Jr. Making some comments about Jake Lee. Said he's very handsome, and that he should get a spot in the G1 or something like that.
Yeah,
it's very complimentary of him.
Yeah, I did see those comments. And there was a lot of rumors this year that Jake Lee was going to be in G1. Yeah, who knows? Maybe next year we'll get that Jake Lee in G1.
Yeah, Jake Lee totally put himself into a weird position by saying by tweeting at New Japan, being like, I want in on the G1, and then they announced it, and there was no Jake Lee. He must have felt so dry after that.
Well, he probably thought it was like the Royal Rumble. You just declare that you're in it, and you're in. So he's like, oh, yeah.
John Moxley did it, right? Didn't John Moxley do that?
Yeah, I declare. Yeah, 2019, you had a bunch of people declaring. Moxley declared he was in G1. Kenta declared. Will Ospreay and Shingo, they all moved the heavyweight and declared that they were in the G1. So Jake Lee, he watches a product. He's like, hey, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna declare and get in. And then Rev Pro, some Rev Pro news. They have a show coming up, Uprising 2022, which will be Saturday, December 17th, York Hall. Tomohiro Ishii will be in action, taking on Zack Knight, who is the brother of Saraya Knight from the Knight family. So it's always good to get Ishii in Rev Pro. Feels like pre-pandemic times. So that's going to wrap up the news. Go to some questions here, and then we will wrap the show up. So first from Les Commission 7252, he says, with New Year's Dash coming back next year, what is one thing you guys would like to see from the show? I would like to see New Japan announce the idea of partnering up with AEW in the majority of 2023.
Yeah, I just want some big surprises that are really great. Like, I feel like the last couple of dashes have been a little bit like lackluster, and they haven't delivered on our expectations. So, with respect to the relationship between New Japan and AEW, I'm of the opinion that absence makes the heart grow fonder. And so I don't want them to overdo it. I want Forbidden Door to feel like we're getting dream matches. I want to, though. I do want to see AEW guys doing tours. I do want to see AEW guys in some of the tournaments, but I don't want them to blow big matches in getting sort of deeper into bed with one another over the time. So, I want to see some big surprises. I want to see some angles. I would love to see some direction. But that's how I feel.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. New Year's Dash, it used to kind of be like that, that Raw after Mania feeling where you had big debuts, you had some big angles, some prizes. And yeah, I agree with you. That's what we need to see here. Why not switch the junior tag belts or the Never Six-Man trios, or do a big Never title match, do some kind of title match, do some debuts, bring somebody over from Strong, or do a hot angle. That's going to be the big thing that's going to kick off 2023. I think, they definitely need to kind of have that special aspect to it, because the last couple of years, like you mentioned, it's kind of been like a random multi-mans. It really hasn't been, I think back to other dashes, you had the whole angle where Jay White turned on Kenny Omega, and you had some guys they showing up and debuting, and they kind of kicked off a lot of angles on New Year's Dash, and we just haven't gotten that in the last couple of years.
Wasn't AJ? Didn't they kill AJ Styles at New Year's Dash?
Yeah, AJ got booted out of the Bull Club on New Year's Dash. So yeah, they usually do a lot of cool angles like that. So yeah, do some of that. This whole Bull Club direction. Maybe you do something with Jay finally getting rid of House of Torture. Maybe you bring in all of Team Filthy and they debut and do something. There's a lot of options you could do to just do something surprising and cool and get some angles going. Let's see. His other question here, he says, what would you guys consider as the number one title from New Japan this year? The IWGP World Heavyweight Championship or the IWGP United States Championship? With Okada, he defended the belt against Naito multiple times and faced Zack, while Jay White has lack of defenses. I understand that the U.S. Championship was considered cursed, and considering how much the belt was changing back and forth earlier in the year, but since June, Ospreay has made the title feel so important that he had great bangers with guys like Orange Cassidy, Finlay, and Naito. Even having Naito challenge for the belt even made the title feel important. What do you guys think?
Ooh, it's a great question. I'm going to say Okada's reign, but Will Ospreay's reign has been the talk of the town, particularly his last couple of defenses. Look, Jay White's got to come to work, man. I don't know what's going on here, but you're not MJF, man. You can't say that you're not going to wrestle. This guy is a guy that needs to put in the work. He's got to get my butt into the seats. everyone's talking like Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay is the real main event. And that I'm sure that's under Jay White's skin. I'm sure it's under Okada's skin too, but Okada came to work. Okada did the tours. Jay White hasn't, he hasn't been here, right? He hasn't been here, and he hasn't been active. Like you saw, all I've seen from Jay White is him and El Phantasmo at like the Lakers game or a Miami Heat game or something.
Yeah.
Playing the bongos, but didn't even have the belt with him. What's he doing?
Yeah, Jay has not been doing a lot to build up the Tokyo Dome main event, and it's feel like even though like now foreigners are easy to get able to get in Japan, it seems like he hasn't just been there. I don't know what it is. Like he's been on some tours, but he's just he's just been absent. And as far as this question, I think it's a tale of two stories for both of the titles. I think the first half of the year, the world title felt like the world title, the number one belt of the promotion. You had two big defenses at Wrestle Kingdom with Shingo and Okada, and then Okada Ospreay. You had Okada's rivalry with Naito, Okada versus Sabre. Like Okada did a great job, carrying the belt the first 6 months of the year, but then you switch the belt to Jay, and the titles kind of lost its importance, its luster. And then you look at the U.S. title, where the first half of the year, like it's been hot potatoed, it's been cursed due to COVID and broken orbital bones and all kinds of sicknesses and injuries, flopping between Sonata and Ospreay and Juice Robinson and all these guys. And so now finally, Ospreay holding it now, getting it back. Like since June, he's elevated the title, defended it at Forbidden Door against Cassidy. He's wrestling all over the place, and these two great matches with Naito. So the U.S. title feels really important right now, and especially with this Kenny Omega match, like there's a ton of buzz around that. It's feeling really hot, and right now I would say that the U.S. title feels more important than the world title. And I think, like you mentioned, a lot of people would love to see Omega Ospreay main event come January 4th. Yeah.
Jay White, I don't know where his head's at, but not beating the drum for Wrestle Kingdom. Like Okada's being a dad right now. Like you got to cut him some slack. Somebody's got to sell this pay-per-view, right? So somebody's got to put butts in seats. And you know who it's been? It's been Will, and it's been Kenny. And Kenny's been working in New Japan for like 3 minutes, right? Like he cut one promo and probably sold another 15,000 tickets just with that one promo. And Jay White Okada is I'm really down on it, man. I know it's going to be a good match. I'm not as down on Jay White's work as everyone else is. I do agree it can be a little bit cumbersome, particularly in the beginning of his matches. The first 15, 20 minutes can be a bit of a slog, but I think he's so very, very smart, very thoughtful wrestler. And I do like the majority of his matches. But he can tell a great story. He can build heat. He can build a rivalry, and he hasn't been doing any of that. So I question where his head's at, and I question how long he is for the company.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Going forward, where Jay White ends up going, and kind of what the future is for him. And both of these titles. I had a question here that I forgot to put on the rundown from Hawaiian Punch BV. He says, would a United Empire team of Gideon Gray, Karahutsu's mascot, and Jesse Vargas make the greatest never 6-man championship team ever? Would you like to see NJPW go to Karasu more often after their hot showing?
I'm down with going to any of these little towns with their with their weird setups, as long as they're hot, man. If the crowd is hot, you go back. They had that. They were in this one place. I don't know if that was. I don't think it was the place that the question writer is talking about. But they were in this one place that looked like a studio, with all of the seating sort of in behind, and it was like all like sort of black seating. It looked like they were wrestling in a studio, which was really cool.
Yeah, I have to go back and see what venue it is. I haven't been keeping track of the cities and venues I've been going to, but that was a pretty cool location. But yeah, and he's talking about the mascot that came out on tonight's show where Gideon Gray did the intro. He brought the official now United Empire mascot. I guess the mascot of the city. So that would be a little interesting combo there if you have the mascot Gideon Gray and Jesse Vargas, that boxer that TJP brought up that one time. He also asks, do you think with all this talk of Naito needing to win World Tag League in order to secure his Wrestle Kingdom spot is telegraphing that he isn't going to win? Do you think there is a special opponent waiting in the shadows to challenge him after LIJ gets eliminated by House of Torture, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jon Moxley? Hiromu and Naito have a Pepsi bit going on right now, maybe a certain Pepsi lover.
Ooh. Well, I can certainly say that there's not going to be any Pepsi spilt, unless it's spilt on Phil Brooks's floor. That guy is broken. I don't think his injury allows him to fly nor compete. But Nakamura, Naito, come on. That makes me happy. I'm smiling.
Yeah, that would be dope if that was able to be pulled off.
Yeah, you got to give Naito something. If Naito is in a tag match at World Wrestle Kingdom, I'm going to be pretty disappointed as a Naito guy, as a guy who's watched Naito crush it in the main event multiple times. Like, the guy will talk about bright lights. Like, this guy is bright lights. So, oh man, I salivate thinking about a surprise Nakamura match with Naito, although probably unlikely, but the world is changing, right?
Yes. I could see Naito facing maybe Roughneck Shota Umino. Umino mentioned his plan was to win the U.S. title and then have his first defense against Naito. So maybe he comes out at the Tag League Finals and challenges Naito to get his big Tokyo Dome match, and that would be huge to kind of elevate Umino.
Yeah, I'm into that as well. I'm into that idea as well, for sure.
Yeah, and then also in the past, Josh and I mentioned potentially, Muta getting involved somehow and doing a special...
Getting a check?
Yeah, doing a special tag with Muta and Tanahashi, maybe against Naito and Sonata. Who knows where they're going to end up? I mean, the Dome card, it's filling up. I think we already have, 5 or 6 matches already announced for the Dome between the World title match, you got the U.S. title match, you got the women's title match. We know that there'll be a tag title match. There'll be a junior tag team title match. So there's a lot of stuff filling up on the Dome.
Yeah, lots of belts. I think we've seen all the belts are on the line, which, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Going to be good. So, yeah, let's get Naito. Let's beat the drum. Let's set the agenda for Nakamura. If not, we will be okay with Shooter.
Yes, the roughneck. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Recommended match of the week. We're going to put that on a hold once again for when Josh comes back. So we'll pick that up hopefully next week. And like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, Josh and I should be later at the end of this week doing our audio that announces all the nominees in the categories for our year-end awards, and the ballot will be coming out with that audio as well. So yeah, hopefully Young Boy's up and ready to go for that, and we can get the ballot out, get that audio out, get you guys voting on that. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up. MJ, thanks so much for coming on, man. Is there anything that you want to plug for the listeners?
Oh, I got nothing to plug. I'm at NJPW on Twitter. If you want to follow me, I'm not talking about wrestling all the time. I'm talking about wrestling a little bit. Follow me on there. I do appreciate you having me on. I'm a big fan of the show, big fan of the Social Suplex Network. So I really appreciate the opportunity, and shout out to everybody who sent in questions. It was a great opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good to have you on, man. You're the third Canadian that we've had on the show. So
yeah, CanCon, man, you need it. So so just so you know, you got to translate this into French afterwards, right? For this to be broadcast legally in Canada.
We do?
No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so that's going to wrap things up. Next week we'll be back to talk about all the nights happening in this tag league and Super Junior Tag League Tour, and we will give a preview of the finals and predictions for that, and also get ready for the road to Tokyo Dome. If you enjoyed today's show, please consider making a donation by visiting socialsuplex.com/donate and click on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. Make sure you connect with us on social media. On Twitter, the show is at KI Strong Style. You can follow the network at Social Suplex. You can follow me at Jeremy L. Donovan. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/Social Suplex. You can also find us in the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group. On Instagram, we're at Social Suplex. On Reddit, I'm the Pro Black Guy. Josh is Keeping It Strong Style. You can email me, Jeremy at socialsuplex.com. Check out all the other shows that we have here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. One Nation Radio, hosted by Rich Latta and James Boyd. The Grave Consequences Podcast, hosted by Caleb Baldwin and Maserati. All Things Elite with Floyd Johnson Jr. and Austin Tomowitz. The AEW Match Guide Podcast, hosted by Sir Sam. He just dropped his last official episode, but those episodes are evergreen, so go back and check those out. And also the Great Match Generator, hosted by Danny Kugler. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and review, and we will catch you next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.
Whether in person or remote, open communication with your doctor is key to managing any condition, including heart failure.
How have you been feeling? I'm okay.
Both are great options to continue having open conversations with your doctor about how you're feeling.
I've had less energy.
And when you speak openly with your doctor, they're better equipped to help. Visit heartfailuretalks.com to learn more.
When it comes to sports, you can't beat live. Vivid Seats has tickets to all of your favorite teams at great prices, and all with a 100% buyer guarantee. Visit vividseats.com or download the app and use 10 Sports for $10 off your first $100 purchase.